All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday Night Racing here on the Revo Racing Network for the Coastal Financial Truck Series for the Fike Take Flight 212 here from Talladega. My name is Trevor Earhart. Joining me tonight, Justice Murphy, and as always, Rob Rader running the production booth. Justice, we're back after a week off, and technically for me, 2 weeks off, as I was sick last week, or the last time y'all were live when y'all were at Richmond, where Clint Cox got the win. But here we are tonight, the high banks, the high speeds of Talladega. What are you expecting to see from these drivers out there tonight?
Yeah, big momentum there for Clint Cox with the win at Richmond. He won the only other super speedway race this season at Daytona, leading 57 of 100 laps there. Interested to see as he gets to start third tonight. Does he work his way forward? Does somebody new rise up, take the crown from him as super speedway king?
It'd be fun to see. Big field tonight. We're going to go 85 laps tonight with one stage break. The drivers do get one fast repair, so that'll be important for some of these guys, as we might see a little bit of aggression early on in this thing. But we'll get a quick rundown of the starting lineup. It's going to be Jeremy Burns on pole with Nick Alves to his outside in second. Clint Cox will roll off third with Caleb Gilbert in fourth. Joseph Gendron is going to start in fifth with Chris Nail in sixth. Trevor Keith will start in seventh with Dominic Hughes in eighth. Tyler Harrison ninth, and Wayne Lowe will start in 10th.
Yeah, followed in row 6 by Kevin Orlando Jr. and Frank Hughes. Row 7, Jackson McGeorge, Grant Thorpe. Row 8, Sam Taylor and Jake Williams. Row 9, Michael Reed and Daryl Johnson. Row 10, Joe Joya and Travis Gilbert.
And then from there, you're going to have Michael Bennett, John Fike, as well as, I'm sorry, I am off. It's going to be Waylon Turner, Michael Bennett. Then you're going to have Alex Berube, John Fike. Chris Schaefer, Kyle Diaz in 22nd with Dylan Picklesheimer, William Gay, 27th and 28th. Evan Hudgens and Matthew Robinson will be in 29th and 30th.
Yeah, Justin Hughes in 31st and Dustin Adams starting shotgun on the field. Looks like he didn't lay a time down there, Trevor. I'm not sure if he's actually on track here. But again, yeah, he is. But one of those places, it absolutely does not matter. You can start anywhere in this field. You can get there if you want to get up front. Going to be interested to see who shows the most patience. That's typically the guys that win. You see guys like Denny Hamlin in real life pulling out of line when the pack gets a little too juicy. Pulls out of line, goes to the back, figuring he can avoid the chaos and then get his way back up there.
That's going to be the interesting thing tonight. Will we see drivers pull out of line at any point over the start of this thing? Again, 85 laps tonight, stage break. We'll be on lap 24 extra sets of tires. We don't expect tires to be a thing. Fuel, though, will be a thing for these drivers. They do have that one fast repair line as we work our way down the backstretch. Huge shout out to Coastal Financial for being the primary sponsor here for the inaugural season of the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series. For all your financial needs, be sure to go over to their website, coastalfinancial.com. We'd also like to thank our other sponsor, Slurp Soda, with the refreshingly delicious drinks. If you need anything in the Phoenix area, be sure to check out all their socials at Slurp Sodas. For any beverage needs, Justice, as we work our way here through 3 and 4. A long way to the start-finish line, as it's actually almost into the entry. It's our number 1.
Yeah, it's a long time from the time that pace car pulls off to getting that green flag. So, got to show a lot of patience if you're the leader, because you want to just go ahead and take off. But one of the places, Trevor. It just doesn't matter. You don't want to get too far ahead. And if you're Jeremy Burns here, you're thinking, come on, Clint, get to my bumper. As they're getting ready to tighten up, take the green flag here, Trevor.
Working the way through the Geico restart zone. One driver going to start from pit roads. Not a bad call, as it's going to be Michael Reed. But here we go. Green flag is out. Jeremy Burns, Nick Alves, Clint Cox, and then the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. It's going to be who can get lined up with who first to get that momentum. It looks like Clint Cox to the rear bumper of the 72 of Jeremy Burns. They're going to be the first two lined up, but Caleb Gilbert, Nick Alves line up as well. It's going to be help from the third truck in line. It's really going to set these two lines apart. But as they work their way through 1 and 2, Burns and Cox working well together to try to get out front.
Yeah, I kind of preached it when they were at Daytona, Trevor, about how good Nick Alves tends to be on these drafting style tracks. Got a familiar face behind him. Caleb Gilbert, another guy that's pretty good around these things. Our producer knows a thing or two about getting a push from Caleb, as they are teammates over in the Cup Series. But yeah, guys being familiar with each other is really going to help. Burns runs around Clint Cox quite a bit here in the truck league, so I'm sure a little bit more comfortable with each other than maybe with some others. But being only the second drafting style track, you see Caleb blink out, and that can cause some issues, Trevor. But yeah, being the only second drafting style track, a lot of these guys still have to adjust to being around each other, and that's going to be huge back in the pack as these guys are starting to go 3 wide already around row 10.
Yeah, 3 wide here at Talladega, a whole lot easier than it is at Daytona, where you get a little bit more room here. Question is going to be which drivers are going to be okay with this and which drivers might shut the door. That's going to be the question. 3 wide down the middle of the backstretch. It's Dominic Hughes, I believe, going through. I'm sorry, that was 22 there of Travis Gilbert going 3 wide. Justice down the back straightaway. But here we go, 3 wide action already happening as that top row led by Kevin Orlando trying to get up to the front.
Yeah, when Travis jumped that gap, Trevor, they actually went 4 wide for about 1 or 2 seconds there. But yeah, that 3 wide, that top lane here at Talladega really likes to work. The more trucks you can get up there, the better. But 4 trucks up there, they definitely can pull their way forward if they can start working together. As it seems to be working, they've gained about 2 rows already. I would expect them to get all the way up there, and at some point, this is going to be a 3 wide battle for the lead. As they gain more trucks behind them here. Matt Robinson jumps out. See, we see the 61, it looks like, of Frank Hughes doing that Denny Hamlin strategy, Trevor. And figuring that he doesn't want to be a part of that 3 wide action when he gets there.
3 wide, 3 laps into it. Don't blame Frank at all for jumping out of this line. Nick Alves going to drop down to the inside line. He's going to cover off the 03 of Clint Cox, who's able to get around the 72 of Jeremy Burns. But Kevin Orlando leading that top line. He's got the 30 machine pushing him. As well as the 66 of John Fike, the 84 of Hudgens up there. So, I mean, that's a good line of trucks up at the top line. And with how big of a hole these trucks push in the air, just as they're up to the 3rd truck in line, going to be up to the 2nd truck in line as they work their way through turn number 2.
Yeah, like I said, I fully expect this to be a battle for the lead. It'd probably take them about another 2 laps. They make up about 1 row every lap as long as nobody interrupts the momentum of the front truck. So, we see here they're about to break the plane in the 2nd row. They're going to get all the way up there. They may actually get there a little quicker than I thought here. This is now your 3x3 for the lead, essentially. Nick's back bumper here. But, you talk about Clint Cox passing Jeremy Burns. It's kind of what we saw him do at Daytona. Caleb squeezes up there in front of Kevin, stalls the momentum, and now this will be interesting to see if that top line can rebuild. But, we saw Clint Cox at Daytona constantly cutting in and out of traffic, wanting to lead. Nick very quick to cover that off about a lap and a half ago, kind of remembering that. So we see guys now getting a little wobbly up here, Trevor, as they are 3 wide all the way through the field now.
That's where you start filling the air, kind of affecting your truck, especially with the shoves that you're going to get. Gilbert, with the push from this 27 of Orlando, is going to be clear of all lines, so he can pretty much go wherever he wants. Nick Alves, that inside line kind of dying out. And Nick, kind of an underrated super speedway driver, Justice. He's pushed me to a win here and there. Has really good runs, just doesn't have the luck when it comes to the end of these things. Looking to kind of change that luck around tonight in the truck series, leading that inside line. But speaking of kind of a surprise, Chris Nail in the 88 up leading that middle line there with help from the 39 machine of Dominic Hughes. Those two have done a really good job. They got Wayne Lowe, 3rd truck in line, and that middle line just kind of holding pace.
Yeah, that top line now starting to disintegrate a little bit, lose some momentum. You get Fike in the wall a little bit there. That top line has completely died. The 84 appears to have bailed on it. I don't know what caused that loss of momentum, but perhaps for the better. You talked about Chris Nail being pushed by Dominic Hughes. Dominic Hughes was a little bit, uh, swirly back there a couple laps ago, kind of starting to bobble back and forth. So probably a good reset for him not to have air coming off the top. Give him a couple laps to reset himself. These guys time to lead. Is that top lane had died off, but now Kevin Orlando back to the bumper of the 54, Caleb Gilbert. They are moving back forward, trying to march back up there.
Yeah, trying to get that momentum back. And you basically have first through about 23rd, Frank Hughes and the 61 machine all kind of underneath the blanket. And then guys just kind of holding on to the end of the line, trying to just ride this out, see what happens. And you see the movement off the corner exit of these trucks, how much movement they really have in the draft between the air, off one another, trying to push. You see the 30 there of Waylon Turner get up into the wall just a little bit down the back straightaway. These things are a handful, and you can't see Justice if you're the truck doing the pushing. I think Justice might have a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but nonetheless, we stay 2 wide, 3 wide action kind of stalled out there. Top line really broke up there. Now led by 2 trucks. Gonna be the 22 of Travis Gilbert, along with, I believe, the 84 there of Devin Hudgens. They're going to try to reform this outside line. They're bringing the 9 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer with them. As now we go from that being led by Kevin Orlando. He falls all the way back, but here comes Gilbert with momentum to the outside, and Dominic Hughes been able to get around as Nail dropped to the bottom. Dominic Hughes now the leader of that middle line.
Yeah, this is a completely different Gilbert than we saw up here just a few laps ago. He is now at the back of the line at the top. We'll see if Travis can now pull him forward. You kind of starting to see some moving and shaking. Some guys said, F it, we're not going anywhere, and so here we are. Wayne Lowe jumps out of line from behind Dominic Hughes, goes with Travis Gilbert. These are 2 guys that have had some run-ins before in a couple different series, so interested to see if they can work together here to push. It's funny how that tends to happen at these tracks. You all of a sudden have to push guys that a couple weeks ago you probably wouldn't have peed on if they were on fire, Trevor.
Yeah, you go from being mad at somebody one week to kind of being forced to work with them if you want to move your way forward the next week. So we'll see how that plays out. But that outside line, again, just not formed up as much as I believe they want to be. Wayne Lowe gets into the wall. Hudgens gets into the wall, really checks up that outside line, what was left of it. Now, just like that, outside line dissipates. They're going to have to try to reform, regroup, and get back up there. As Hughes gets a big shove from Matt Robinson back up front. The 1 machine trying to push the 39, but you see them there get a little bit offset, and that could cause some issues. As now Waylon Turner and the 23 Chris Schaefer step out of line to try to get that 3rd lane going again.
Yeah, it's just like momentum dying and guys going everywhere, guys hitting the wall. The winner might be is Michael Reed, as long as he doesn't go a lap down here in the next basically 10 and a half laps. He's he's gonna have a tough fight, I guess. He's right there. Kind of brutal, but this is gonna be tough on the field right here. The 3rd lane has had some trouble. Now you're gonna have to try to pass a guy. You would like to have caught perhaps in the tri-oval. Tri-oval is the widest part of the track, so if they can catch him about right there, there's about 6 lanes of room, so they have plenty of room to go around. Yep, here they go by him. Here comes the maneuvers. It's gonna be very tough, but see if these guys can get through it cleanly.
So far, so good. Everybody works their way through, and this is the scariest part. As the leaders catching some lap traffic, there they go. Contact in the made in the back. Schaefer into the 71, into the 61 of Hughes, and more contact made as trucks spin. You see the heavy front end damage there to Chris Schaefer's truck. And I believe for Reed, got through that cleanly and will get his lucky dog Justice, but lap traffic causing chaos for our leaders here on lap 11.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to get his lucky dog. He was, I believe, hit right there. So I don't think he's going to get the lucky dog because of that probably 2x he got there. But yeah, it just started because guys don't quite navigate the lap traffic like they should there. And you kind of or you try to change lanes too quickly to get around them. And lose a little bit of control of the truck. You're typically driving with a pretty tight um, steering box here, something like 12 to 1, 10 to 1. So every little movement is more defined going left or right. It's very tough.
Yeah, you see Schaefer, I mean, trying to give room, had plenty of room, just comes down on the 71 machine and nowhere for everybody else to go. You see Berube get hit there, Jackson McGeorge, and the 98, just kind of an innocent bystander and all that, which, I mean, just a move, Justice, I think, kind of a panic move maybe from the 23. Thought he was going to run out of space and clips the 71 of Sam Taylor, and a couple of trucks already going to probably have to use their fast repair here on lap 12.
Yeah, as much as you would like to catch them in the tri-oval, like I was talking about, the widest part of the tri-oval is literally in the curve, where you got about 6 lanes, and then that they just kind of caught him off exit. They're further back in the pack and feeling a little squeezed, so that can be very tough to judge. But yeah, some guys definitely going to be using a fast repair there. If I had to guess, unless they can get down pit road, now you might get down pit road and have 30 seconds of damage. You just hope it repairs enough that you can at least hang on to the pack. And maybe save that. I know my strategy when we go to these places typically to basically save that fast repair as long as I possibly can. You don't have to lead any lap except for the last one. So if you can save it for a while and maybe play it right, you either take it on your last green flag pit stop, or if you catch a late enough caution that you're in the fuel window, you take it then. But it's going to be interesting to see how guys play this now that we have this wreck here. Go back green at the stage with about 6 to go, so going to be a little shootout.
It's going to be a shootout. Waylon Turner, with some internet issues, I believe, has disconnected from the server. So the 30 machine, early troubles for him is hopefully he can get reconnected and back in. Chris Schaefer in the 23 did have a meatball flag, had to use his quick repair for the 23 machine, so he's going to be without that safety blanket for the rest of the race. I don't know about Jackson McGeorge, the 71 of Sam Taylor, if they had to use theirs. Berube also caught up in that wreck. I'm sure he just got his repaired like you, Justice. He is one of those drivers that just gets the damage fixed and holds on to that as long as possible, because you never know. That here at Talladega was a small wreck. We are used to seeing the quote unquote big one, where we'll see 10 to 15 trucks all in a wreck, and I think for a lot of these drivers, they want to have that quick repair in the pocket just in case they get caught up in the big one.
Yeah, a lot of the time we're talking about, you go to the back to kind of avoid the chaos, and sometimes the chaos just finds its way back there. That's kind of one of those moments we see there where the leader's pretty safe, kind of from all that. They were too wide when they got to lap traffic, but just kind of got wider and wider back there. And that's the hard part. Once you're back there, I've done it a time or two. You just kind of drop out. I try to just stay single file back there on the bottom. I don't really want to be involved if I'm having to move up 2-3 wide. I've already made my choice if I'm back there. So why put any excess risk on that possibility? But going for stage points, those guys were probably around 16th, 17th. So stage points were definitely in play for them. So got to kind of stay as aggressive as you can without wrecking if possible. But yeah, going to be interesting here. Michael Reed, I believe, going to be the only truck a lap down unless Waylon Turner. He did return. So I don't know if he's going to end up 1 lap down or 2, but that's going to be interesting. You're only guaranteed 1 more caution here, technically, Trevor. At the stage, basically. So these guys are going to be battling hard for that lucky dog back there.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for them with that only 1 guaranteed caution. And Waylon Turner, if he can get back out there and only stay that 1 lap down, will be good for him. Michael Reed did not get the lucky dog. Justice called that one correctly. Got the 2X and did not get that. For anybody unfamiliar with how iRacing works, when you're a lap down, if you do get caught up in an incident or stop on track, you are deemed unable to get the lucky dog. Just kind of like in NASCAR, if you are in the incidents, you're not going to get that. So for the 91 machine, just going to have to wait till the stage break and hopefully stay out of any trouble that we might see at the stage. And Justice, I know from experience, you and I both, we kind of know from Wednesday nights, the stage break can either be really clean or kind of chaotic when we get to that here in about 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, I know what I'm typically in favor of, and I love the chaos. Make some guys use their fast repairs. Like I said, I'm a fan of saving it. So I if I'm up there, I don't want to see the wreck, but when I'm kind of bailed out to the back, yeah, boys, pile it up. Use your fast repair because you're probably gonna need some more repairs later. Yeah, I've been a part of both ends of that. But also both been a part of a lucky dog debacle. I was a little frustrated one time. I think at a Charlotte race, and came up was trying to voice my frustration with you. I think I might have cost you a lucky dog. My bad. Still, I own that. But yeah, you got to be very careful with that. When you're the guy racing for that, you're trying to do everything you can to avoid every little tap and bump because you don't want to have that ruined. Kind of like Michael Reed did there. I believe that Waylon Turner, as crazy as this is, Trevor, stayed on the lead lap.
That is impressive. But hey, I think they're about a 2 minute pace lap, so plenty of time for him to get back into this and stay on the lead lap. Green flag getting ready to come out as we work our way into the restart zone. Dominic Hughes, Matt Robinson going to lead us back to the green flag. Nick Alves and Chris Nail going to be in third and fourth, and green flag is back out. And it's a great jump from the 39 and the 1. Now the question is going to be who's going to get lined up behind them as the field really kind of spread out. And this is where we could see some issues as these runs start to form up, drivers closing in on one another. That closing rate's going to be kind of quicker than I think some guys might anticipate. Because here we go, the bottom three lined up together with Clint Cox. Here comes the top three, top four, top five. Is it's only 3 trucks really lined up on the inside line and already going 3 wide. As Gilbert going to look to the outside of the 17 of Joe Joy down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they bailed very quickly there, and you got trucks running up the middle, trucks running up high. This is my God, that was a massive push by Nick Alves to his teammate in the truck, Matt Robinson. And that nearly got ugly for the entire lead pack. Because when that one happens up front, there is nothing that can happen except a bunch of wrecked vehicles. So good control there by the one of Matt Robinson, saving that going into the corner. Kind of being able to maintain in front of the 39. But yeah, 3 wide basically in the third row here is Travis Gilbert. 72 of Jeremy Burns kind of got clear for a second there. Now that middle line maybe making a little bit of a comeback. They're going to need to form up just a little better to continue to keep up.
Yeah, Trevor Keith, that third truck in line, not really near the rear bumper of the 17 of Joya. And he's got a couple of trucks behind him. I believe the 66 of John Fike, the 00 of Tyler Harrison as well in that middle line as they try to work their way up through the field. One truck sideways in the back. It's the 44. Gets into Michael Bennett. Hudson's hard into the wall. Another truck up into the wall. I believe that was the 71 of Sam Taylor. Alex Berube in second caution of the day here, Justice. And that, I believe, is going to be the stage there as caution comes out on lap 16, past that lap 15 cutoff for the stage break.
Yep, that will indeed be the stage. So now we get to have a whole lot of fun, Trevor, because now this turns into a fuel mileage problem post-stage here. This is going to be interesting. This is normally what happens on Wednesdays if we go in these early wrecks. All of a sudden, fuel mileage is very, very, very intriguing. As we're getting ready to get a replay fired up here from the booth and see what started that. But yeah, just kind of 3 wide here, middle of the pack. My gosh, Devin up into the wall, stacks them up, 44 into the 54. Start bouncing around, 84 ends up in the wall. Trucks end up kind of everywhere, piles of pieces, basically.
Yeah, just kind of one of those things. Hudgens just clips the wall, it kills all the momentum, nowhere for everybody to go. And with that, Sam Taylor, 71, going to have required damage, going to have to use his quick repairs. Same goes for the 84 Devin Hudgens. Both of those drivers going to have to use their fast repair here this evening as we get an onboard shot with the 44 of William Gay and see what he saw. You see there, the checkup runs over the back of the 54 of Gilbert. And nowhere for the rest of the field to go there, Justice, as everybody spins through. Again, not necessarily the big one, but some heavy contact for a couple of drivers in the back of the field.
Yeah, the one guy singing hallelujah here is Michael Reed, going to get his lucky dog as he avoided making any contact there. Everybody pitting here. This is where it's fun at these tracks because most of the field is on the lead lap. So getting on and off of pit road under caution with everybody on pit road, not quite as tough in real life because you kind of ghost through the pit boxes, but still not easy when you're trying to judge when other people are going to turn in, when other people are coming out. I mean, it can get very, very ugly very quickly. So everybody seems to be so far so good. as it was a pretty good spread of some of our front runners, front qualifiers being further back in the field, and then so you get a little mix of everybody going in and out at different times here. We see some guys sitting, taking some damage repair here, Trevor. Maybe some guys still trying to preserve that fast repair as long as possible.
With how aggressive they've been, not a bad idea to hold on to that. Sit on pit road, get that damage fixed, and get back out there and just kind of ride around to the back of this. But we work our second caution of the day here on lap 18. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors to give them the full appreciation that they deserve for jumping on board and getting these guys' inaugural season underway. As it's been a fantastic season for the Coastal Financial Truck Series here as they work the second caution of the night. So with that, Coastal Financial, we like to give them a huge shout out, and their mission is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering their clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. If you need to find out more information, go check out their website, coastalfinancial.com, and also you can find them on Facebook at Coastal Financial. We'd also like to thank Slurp Sodas for being a part of this. They're located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and their truck roams the vibrant streets of the greater Phoenix area, adding a splash of flavor to your day. Discover them parked at local hotspots from downtown corners to community events, serving up their signature lineup of refreshing sodas and invigorating energy drinks. For more information on them and for catering information, please visit their website, slurpsodas.com. You can also find them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Slurp Sodas, and they're refreshingly different. And also John Fike for sponsoring tonight's race for the Fike Take Flight 212. And for John, currently running, I believe, in about the 10th position there, Justice. So we'd like to also thank him for jumping on board and sponsoring tonight's race.
Yeah, talk about needing some refreshment here at the stage break. A couple guys probably looking for a cold beverage. Maybe a little vanilla Coke mixture. It's one of my favorites, Trevor. But yeah, these guys taking the chews here. Again, not sure exactly where they're at on fuel at 75% fuel. But I would think that in the pack they're probably getting somewhere around 26 laps. And then, if you're leading, you eat up more fuel. They're probably somewhere around 22, 23 if you're a lead truck. So got to manage this pretty well here. It's basically a two-stop race to the end if you play your cards just right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the fuel is going to work out. Speaking of interesting, how about the 30 machine? Waylon Turner has the internet disconnect, reconnects, and now going to be the race leader as he's going to lead Clint Cox in the field back to the green flag. A couple of drivers taking EOL penalties there, just not sure if that's for damage or the choose cone. We haven't touched on the choose cone in a little bit, and a couple of drivers might have clipped that here coming to the line and having to go to the back of the field, which I got to say isn't a bad thing. I may or may not in a couple of our Wednesday night super speedway races have clipped the choose cone on purpose just to go to the back of the field and kind of get out of harm's way.
I think I saw our producer not just clip it on purpose, he like squared it up one time.
Pretty sure you're wrecked too doing it.
Interesting strategy here, really, Trevor, from Waylon Turner, because again, we're talking where fuel may be a problem. Now he's been out there for 5 more laps than everybody else, so he already has less fuel. Now you're going to be leading a line unless you find a way to drop back. So he's going to be in a tough spot fuel-wise if they don't get a caution, say in 14, 15 laps. He's going to have a little bit of trouble because he's not going to have many friends coming down pit road with him.
We're going to have to wait and see. We had our first caution lap 11, second caution lap 16. So, I mean, that makes sense that we probably see one in about 5 to 7 laps. We'll have to wait and see. Turner has a great launch over the field. I mean, he was out by about 2 truck lengths already over the 03 of Clint Cox before he ever got to the green flag. A little bit of a checkup further in the back of the field. But Turner clear. He's got now the 39 of Dominic Hughes as everybody gets lined up, trying to get sorted out. The momentum built up and making moves as they work their way out of turn number 2.
Yeah, man, these boys having a little trouble getting it all squared up and organized on the restarts. Big spread here. I mean, leader to last in line is almost half straight away. So very interesting here what's going on. But yeah, we see Clint Cox now out to the lead. Being pushed about 24. Nick Alves, Waylon Turner maintaining on the outside. Clint Cox will jump up there. And now Waylon Turner's been shucked out of line. This is probably not the worst thing on the planet for him if he can find a way to fall in line somewhere. and maybe run half throttle for a little bit, save a little bit of fuel, try to get near the same strategy with some of these guys. But right now, he may choose to stay out there. Oh, there he goes down in there. Fine battle for the lead back up front here. Clint Cox was very aggressive like that at Daytona. I was talking about it early on, where he was slicing and dicing, moving around, wanted to lead all the laps. Sometimes taking Dale Jr.'s advice isn't always the smartest thing on the planet, though. A lot harder to know for sure if you're clear on iRacing than it is when TJ Majors is in your ear saying, "Hey man, it's time to go."
Yeah, a whole lot harder to kind of judge that here, as the spotters have been known to be a little bit late on their calls on clear high, clear low, and it's super speedway racing. You can't really have that late call and get away with it, but Clint Cox gets away with it. And it's kind of been an interesting season for that 03 machine. He got off to the great start with the win at Daytona, the inaugural win for the Coast Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series. And then a string of interesting strategy calls saw the 03, who had speed, go from a potential win to being wrecked or caught up in an incident and taking him out of it. And then a couple weeks ago at Richmond, a bad strategy call from the 72 machine of Jeremy Burns sees the 03 back in victory lane for the second time this season. So it's kind of maybe a bounce back for that 03 machine here, Justice. But down the back straightaway, the 24 machine, with help from the 22 of Travis Gilbert, Nick Alves trying to get to that lead spot.
Yeah, you know, we were kind of talking about it with Clint Cox as we kind of maintain up here. This battle's pretty good. We're kind of talking about it pre-race up here in the booth, Trevor, and I was saying, you know, you got Kyle Busch behind the wheel and Brian Patty on the pit box. Some interesting choices with calls, but yeah, I think a couple wins he kind of let slip away, but then benefited from it, made the correct call at Richmond, and benefited from somebody else being on the wrong side of a pit call. So continues to be strong everywhere we go, showing it again here tonight, leading now 4 laps, you know, which is crazy. The most laps led so far is 7 by the 39 of Dominic Hughes. So nobody really doing anything crazy, but I do expect that to change now as they settle in with stage points having been paid out.
Speaking of getting a little bit settled in, Hughes kind of ships the 03 machine up the racetrack now. Cox is going to be leading that middle line in front of Alves and John Fike. Travis Gilbert going to be trying to lead the outside line with Matt Robinson, the 30 of Waylon Turner, Chris Schaefer up there as well. But Dominic Hughes being a little bit aggressive there, tried to get the 03 out of line, but just like that, Clint Cox going to drop back down in front of that inside line. And just, I got to say, we had those 2 quick cautions, lap 11, lap 16. But here we are again, just 3 wide racing, throwing aggressive blocks as the 03 moves up, and there it goes, just like that. One bad block stacks the field up. They wreck to the inside. It's going to be the 65 of John Fike and the 88 of Chris Nail. No caution out. Now they're 4 wide for the lead as they try to work their way through that. The more beating and banging off of one another, they keep it straight. But Clint Cox going to go to the middle with the 22 of Travis Gilbert, Nick Alves, the 98 machine of Jackson McGeorge. You have the 91 of Reed. They're still 4 wide as they work their way into the tri-oval.
Yeah, you know, and that's, yeah, like you said, a bad block kind of led there. And I do question, I don't do this very often. I do question maybe the not just picking him up. I understand it can get frustrating when you're watching a guy do what he was doing, and you watched him do it at Daytona, and nobody really stopped him from doing it. Or penalized him at any point, like what just happened there. But you know, when you don't pick him up, you kind of cause the block to only be worse. So interesting decisions being made on lap 25 of 85 or 24 of 85. But it's one of those things. Everybody has to make a decision about how they're going to handle that, and ends up pretty much probably taking the 65 and 88 out of contention if they don't get a caution in the next, say, 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, it's hard contact to the inside wall for both of those drivers, for Fike and Nail, and we'll see if they can recover from that tonight. But you know, it's one of those things that it's not, you as a driver, you take note, especially in super speedways, of how drivers block, how they race, how they draft. And it could be something that comes back to haunt that 03 machine late into this race, with the way he's been driving here early on. could see him, if he makes a move, get kind of left out, or just get flat turned because somebody doesn't lift to let him in.
Yeah, I think that if you're the 03 though, you also take a mental note there of what happened to you when you made that block. And I agree. Listen, I agree wholeheartedly. It's a crazy block to make on lap 24, but also crazy not to pick them up. So very interested to see who's taking the most notes. I definitely think that every driver right there took a mental note and said, okay, this is how this one's going to do this. That's how this one's going to do that. And you kind of just mark that down for later. Do you think, is this person going to pick me up when I go to move up in front of him, or is he going to kind of shuck me out of line? And every time you strike that match, you have to understand that there's a consequence to it. So you make your decisions. You know, you kind of know who to go with, who to not go with over time, and that'll continue to develop as this goes on.
That's going to be fun to watch as Waylon Turner now gets up to the front spot. Chris Nail for an update, just working his way out of turn number 4. The leaders cross the start finish line. John Fike, I believe, working his way out of turn number 2. So both those trucks considerably off the pace. We'll see if we see some chaos when they get caught to be lapped. But Waylon Turner now leads the way in the 30 machine, followed by the 03 of Clint Cox. And you can kind of see the 3 wide trying to get formed back up. The 9 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer leading the middle line. And then the outside line led by the 98 of Jackson George and the 91 of Michael Reed as they try to work their way forward. Devin Hudgens, after using his fast repair, kind of up there in the middle. Justice as third line works its way back together. We're going to be back to 3 wide action here up at the front, I'd assume relatively soon.
You know, I'm still on this fence questioning the 30 truck here. Again, already on an offset strategy with your fuel about 5 laps shorter than everybody else, and then you go out and start trying to lead a lane here. If I'm him, I kind of stick back there as we see another truck decide to kind of hang the 30 out. When he goes up to block, they kind of maneuver up around him. Now he's going to have a run back to the 9 bumper. I would expect that he immediately, once he clears the 84, probably jumps to the outside lane as these guys are getting ready to work around the 65 truck of John Fike. Little easier here. John Fike just kind of gives up, says, all right, boys, go around. Doesn't want to interrupt the racing. So very, very smart decision there from John Fike. Very high racing IQ in that situation. So the entire field kind of gets by cleanly. We continue with the battle up front. 03 truck Clint Cox getting ready to make his dive. 9 goes with him. This is going to turn into a wreck. Yep.
Called it. Perfectly called it. Picklesheimer gets turned off the nose. The 00 Tyler Harrison caught up in that as well. And I mean, I hate to say it, but Clint Cox out here just making enemies left, right, and center. Justice, that's about the second move that he's made that hasn't been relatively smart, to say the least. I mean, Picklesheimer could have been a little bit quicker on the block. I've been guilty of that, throwing a late block. I think back to you and I last season at Daytona, coming through the tri-oval, had a similar situation, but we'll get a good look at it here on the replay. And Picklesheimer just trying to move with the 03 machine, and I mean, it's a late move, but I don't know. They're just
same thing that I said about the last time this happened. I understand that it's not the move you want the truck in front of you to make, but once you're clear down in front of the 30, if you're the 03, I think that you have to kind of just let the 9 down. I mean, it's too early in this race to continue to race this way. And Clint Cox has been aggressive like this all race. This is going to start wearing guys out, and I don't think anybody's going to do it on purpose, but I don't think anybody's going to cut him any slack either. I would expect that he ends up wrecked at some point here shortly if he continues to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to send somebody to the inside of Talladega or Daytona if you need to get them out of the way. I believe I remember a certain somebody up in the booth with us that we don't hear from sending another car through the grass at Daytona after he got up a little bit fed up with them. So we'll wait and see. You don't wish that upon any driver, but with the way that Clint Cox has kind of been aggressive, I'm sure certain drivers fed up with it. You see him just gas only in and out of his box relatively quickly. couple of trucks going to get some repairs done. But as we work our third caution of the night here on lap 31, we're going to take a quick commercial break, let these guys cool off, get lined back up here, and we will be back for the restart here on the Revo Racing Network.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And welcome back to the Revo Racing Network. Choose cone underway. As you see drivers ducking to the inside and the outside. And it looks like a lot of drivers going to the outside. Michael Bennett going to be the third truck on the inside line as everybody went to the outside for this restart here for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series for the Fike Take Flight 212. And for John Fike, the sponsor of tonight's race, got his lucky dog right there just after being spun to the inside down the back straightaway after a late block from the 03 of Clint Cox. You see Fike right there working his way down pit road to get some more repairs or maybe top up on fuel in that 65 machine. So excited to have Fike back on the lead lap. But Nick Alves, Clint Cox going to lead us back with Kyle Diaz, Matt Robinson, Michael Bennett, and Jeremy Burns, I believe, going to be the top 5 or 6 drivers here on this restart and what's been an eventful opening 30 laps.
Yeah, this is getting dicey very quickly. These boys, I believe, on caution flag number 4, Trevor, so far, if you include the stage break. So definitely wanting to clean this up a little bit, I'm sure. But you got some guys making some interesting decisions, as we've kind of spoken about up to now. And I don't know that I don't know that stops. Until somebody's just in a wall, Dale Earnhardt style. I mean, it's at this point, that's what it looks like it's going to take to maybe calm this thing down. But yeah, these guys just continue to battle and make moves, and they're getting ready to come to the green flag. Trevor, I'm hoping that we maybe get a little run to a green flag pit stop. Let's make this interesting.
I mean, that's what we kind of been hoping for, waiting for. But I mean, they've been going 3 wide at the drop of the green flag, so we'll see if we see more of that. A little bit of an update. Trevor Keith had himself an internet issue, had to drop out and reconnect. He has reconnected, showing 1 lap down. We'll see where he's going to cycle out at. But pace car down pit road. Clint Cox, Nick Alves going to lead us back to the green flag. Do work our way into the Geico restart zone. There we go on the loud pedal. A great jump by the 03, but Matt Robinson, Nick Alves, the teammates lined up pretty well as they're already locked bumpers as they head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, these restarts continue to be a little bit spread out, basically from about 10th on back. These boys are struggling to get all the way up to each other. So, yeah, interested to see who can kind of form up the best here. I would expect at some point, if it becomes available, that 14 truck's looking to go high with his 2 teammates leading it, but it's kind of stuck down there at the moment. We see already got 1 truck ready to push it 3 wide, and they are now 3 wide already.
1 truck
Travis,
hard inside wall down the back straightaway. They started to cut you off there with the 3 machine. I believe that's Justin Hughes that went and hit the inside wall in the back straightaway. Not sure what happened to him, but I saw smoke going down the back stretch there. It was Chris Schaefer, that third truck Justice that was jumping up to the outside there. Is Clint Cox now going to go with an aggressive side draft? He jumps up in front of Jeremy Burns, and here we go, round number 3 for the 03 machine, trying to get to the front.
Yep, Jeremy Burns picks him up, going to kind of try to push him forward here. Interested to see how quickly that 03 or how willingly tries to throw another block. As Nick has kind of already showed him that he's fed up with it. We'll see if that continues to work for that 03 truck. Now they're trying to form up that outside lane. It's kind of getting some organization. They're a little bit more compact in the inside lane. I expect a big run coming here, particularly off of turn 4.
See what happens here. But Burns looked a little bit to the outside, not going to go up there, just kind of maybe getting some clean air to the front of that 72 machine. Outside line now, Chris Schaefer, the 71 machine of Sam Taylor. They try to make that third line work, but not really a lot of help out back for those two. So they're just kind of lone wolves up there. The Travis Gilbert, I believe, in the 22, a little bit further back. But Burns pushes the 03 back to the front. So Clint Cox back to the lead as he drops down in front of the 24 of Nick Alves. And we'll see how long he's going to stay up there, Justice, and how aggressive these blocks are going to get. Lap 35, still a long way to go. And there he goes, jumps up to the top. Burns gets into him, and Burns gets shuffled to the middle. And again, an aggressive block almost leads to a wreck as the field fans out, gets back, strung back together here. But here we go as the drivers catch their breath.
Yep, continuing to make questionable moves, and there we go. And it gets worse. Jeremy Burns gets turned around. He's up in the catch fence now, riding the wall like a surf or a skateboard. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, again, just questionable moves. Gets the pack stacked up. Next thing you know, we're 3 and 4 wide. Guys not quite in line with each other, and this is what you end up with. It continues to just be bad move after bad move. We see some guys now kind of getting filtered to the back, so this may only get worse. The guys have been up front all day going to the back of the pack here from being wrecked. Jeremy Burns appears to have lost an engine, Trevor.
Yeah, Burns' motor blew up, but here we go. Matt Robinson kind of came up in front of the 03 of Clint Cox and goes up and over, and then you see Burns go up and over as well. Jackson McGeorge caught up in that. Clint Cox, Jeremy Burns, Matt Robinson, and I believe one other caught up in that as well, as Matt does
Matt Robinson Bush here.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, this was looked like maybe Nick and Maddie here trying to move up, kind of get into that middle lane a little more than the bottom lane, and Matt kind of got stuck out there and just was kind of into the left front of the 03 truck right there as we can go on board from the roof of Matty Robinson's one truck here. Kind of disconnects from Nick, trying to get a little clean air, gets a little too high. And next thing you know, man, head first into the catch fence. This is a little bit brutal, but it's one of those things that can happen sometimes.
Yeah, tough wreck for those drivers involved. As I believe Matt Robinson, Waylon Turner, Jeremy Burns, Clint Cox, all with required damage flags. Actually, Matt Robinson does not have one. I'm not sure if he's already made his. I think he already made his pit stop. Got his fast repair taken, but for the other drivers, Waylon Turner, Jeremy Burns, and Clint Cox, they're going to have to use their fast repair here tonight, get those trucks fixed, and get back out there. I believe this also gives the 15 machine of Trevor Keith his lap back as we get another look. There's Burns with that blown engine, able to make it back to pit road. So pretty impressive from the 72. Not going to lose a lap, but going to have to come down here and use that safety net here. And we still got a lot of racing left to do. Justice, only lap 37, fourth caution of the night. And it's kind of just all been the same style of incident.
We have an interesting decision being made. Or he accidentally used it for some lighter damage, Trevor. So Clint Cox is not taking a fast repair, as his truck continues to sit on pit road with some pretty significant damage. So this is interesting. I don't know if maybe he had already used the fast repair, or I'd say, or you maybe earned it a little early. So this is interesting. So we got the 03 Clint Cox up here in the booth. All right, big wreck there, buddy. Opting not to take the fast repair here.
Yeah, we're gonna sit here and try to get Billy Bob to get over there here with a hammer and beat this thing out. We'll try to limp it around for a while. But yeah, we just got in a wreck there. These guys don't like the blocks I'm throwing, but if anybody watches racing, that's what you got to do to stay up front. So I think the one thought he was clear there, slid up across my nose, and we wrecked there. So we'll get her fixed.
I mean, Clay, I'm assuming you're going with kind of the same strategy we saw you employ at Daytona. You're going to be, you were up front. You're going to do everything in your power to kind of stay up front. Was that your game plan coming into this?
Yeah, that's the name of the game. I want to stay up front. It's too hard to pass and too risky. So you just try to stay up front. And we just got in a wreck there. Like I said, I think the one thought he was clear to slide up and block me there, but he wouldn't. We got hooked up. But we're
Well,
going to try to fix this thing up and see if we can get back out there. Hang
well,
around for a little bit.
we see you rolling out there, and we'll let you get back to your team and get lined back up on this restart. And good luck for the rest of this thing.
I appreciate it.
03 Clint Cox, Justice electing to just get it fixed, not use his fast repair. Not a terrible call, but I suspect that truck going to be quite off pace with the amount of damage that he had after being involved in that incident.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot in the Cup cars. The Cup cars have a lot of front end or nose drag, and that's what causes them to have like a parachute effect when they pull out a line. You pull out a line, try to make a third lane, and it can be very tough to get anything going until you have just a ton of help. Right now, he's going to have a little bit of a parachute effect because that front end is still pretty damaged on that 03 truck. So, going to have to try pretty hard to maintain at the back of the pack. Going to be interesting to see if he can do that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. What is going to be really interesting is what is the racing at the front of the field going to be like. I mean, Clint kind of touched on it. Driver's not happy with the blocks that he was throwing. Now we have a different group up at the front. Going to be led by Travis Gilbert, Chris Schaefer, Devin Hudges, John Fike, who's back up to the front now after his little excursion to the inside wall on the back straightaway. So will we see a little bit different style up front? Will we see a little bit more of patience being shown? That's going to be the question that we're going to have to wait and get answered for us as we continue pacing. Here's the enter turn number 3.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of guys that maybe haven't really been in the back, probably cycled back a little bit there, and some guys up front that haven't really been there a ton. You do see a lot of the familiar names: Hudgens, Gilbert, Alves, Hughes, Diaz. These guys have kind of started working their way up here. Nick having been up here all race, Caleb Gilbert, Travis Gilbert has been a factor for quite a few laps now, but interested to see who maybe makes some decisions. Let's pick some guys up. Let's run some laps. I think that we maybe have a chance here to run a little bit green, and I think these boys want to settle in. At least I hope so, Trevor.
I hope so as well. As we get ready to go back racing, Hudgens going to lead us back into the restart zone. Green flag is out. Or I'm sorry, not Hudgens. Schaefer and Gilbert going to lead us back. And Schaefer with a great jump. He was already about a truck length out in front of the 22, and we kind of saw that earlier on. Schaefer going to drop down. They're going to switch lanes. Is Gilbert going to jump up in front of John Fike? A little bit of a side draft. Fike going to shoot the middle, and this could get interesting, but Fike backs out of it. Smart move there, as that could have been tragic for the front of the field there as they work their way out of turn number 2.
And just as I thought they were ready to calm down, they went even more psycho than ever, as that was a few questionable moves directly in a row. So interesting here as we see Dominic Hughes in the 39 truck forming up that outside lane with the 71 of Sam Taylor. They're making a massive move because of that checkup, right? They kind of jump out of line, get a lot of momentum, and it allows some other guys to suck up to them, and they're going to probably be battling Schaefer at the line for the lead here as we are 3 wide, and yeah, Dominic Hughes clears them all. Big push from Sam Taylor there.
Yeah, Taylor leads or helping push that 39 as 39 of Hughes going to lead that lap over the 84 of Hudgens and the 23 Schaefer. That inside line really has lost a lot of momentum with Schaefer, Alves, and Bennett there trying to get reformed back up and see if they can come back at these guys down the back straightaway. But 3 wide racing as they work their way halfway down the straightaway. The 86 machine of Joseph Gendron. We haven't talked about him. He started up front, kind of fell to the back of the field, now back up. Now the first truck in line on that outside line as everybody's kind of split. Taylor all the way to the bottom in front of Chris Schaefer. He's now to the inside of the truck he was just pushing. And Dominic Hughes is they kind of switch spots there just out of turn number 4.
Yeah, this is I think the fun thing for me, Trevor, is you talk about guys IRL. They put the helmet on. They just turn into killer mode, right? They go psycho, and it's almost the same effect here. You turn the PC on, you get on, you start practicing, do a little qualifying, and you get in the race, and you just lose your mind. You just want to race, and believe me, I'm right there with them a little bit, but these boys are fiending to be 3 wide as soon as possible, and everybody wants to lead. And I think somebody forgot to tell them it's 85 laps to the end. You got to get there to have a chance. So as they continue to battle, Dominic Hughes, Sam Taylor up front. These boys got a little push, a little help from each other to get up there. Now they're up here battling that outside lane, trying to reform Trevor, but not having as much luck as it did just a lap ago.
Yeah, it's not really getting there. It's now Joseph Ginger and Daryl Johnson, that outside line, the first 2 trucks, as they try to get their way up there. The inside line, I've been watching it with Dominic Hughes, Chris Schaefer, and it's mainly been that 23 truck. Just doesn't look comfortable corner exit. It's kind of causing that inside line to check up and drop back, as it's basically the middle groove and the outside line really kind of pulling away right now. As Taylor leads the 84 of Hudgens down the back straightaway. And that's one thing as a driver, I think, that gets really frustrating, is when a truck in front of you isn't being as smooth as you potentially want them to be, causing you to check up and lose some positions. And I'm sure Nick Al's not going to be the happiest of drivers right now, but he does have a teammate behind him in the 14 of Michael Bennett. So those two, if they elect, could just jump out of line. Is John Fike actually going to drop down in front of the 24 machine here as he drops from the middle line out down to the bottom?
Yeah, and that was very, very tight. That spotter might have caught clear, but it wasn't by much. It was like, I think I can clear you, is what you hear spotters say a lot of times these things. I think you're close. You make the decision, and you kind of self-clear as a driver. But yeah, that outside lane, Joseph Gendron trying to gain. We see Fike actually bail out of line here. Probably going to frustrate Nick just a little more, because it's going to stall the run of that inside lane. All that good momentum they had built, try to work forward, and you kind of stall it out a little bit. But we see a little side draft from Joseph Gendron, the 84 Devin Hudgens. That allows Nick to suck all the way back up to that back bumper of Christopher Schaefer, and you're just right back to pushing that momentum again. As it looks like Schaefer in the 39 having a little trouble there, getting lined up there off the exit of 4.
Yeah, it's got to get lined up, got to stay straight. I mean, these trucks can take the shove. You just got to make sure you're lined up with one another. Is the lead pack all pretty much 3 wide from the first all the way down to about the 9 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer down there in 19th position. So everybody just trying to stay lined up, stay together. As well. We take a look further through the field. Dustin Adams, driver we haven't talked about, up 14 spots from where he started in the 25 machine. He's gonna be the last truck on that outside line as they get a good run up through the field. Grant Thorpe a little bit further back, along with the 51 of Jake Williams. Kevin Orlando's back there. Wayne Lowe. It's kind of the second group, kind of just riding around, waiting to see what this outside line's going to do. And Justice, a truck I see in that outside line toward the back of it, the 03 machine, Clint Cox, trying to work his way back up to the front of this field with that damage that he has.
Yeah, I think definitely can stay in line, be a pusher, but it has too much front end damage to get up there and be a leader. Yeah, if you're him, you still got that fast repair in your back pocket. You may as well get up here and try to force the action. See who else you can make have some issues. See the 15 continue to have a little bit of blinking trouble there in the middle of that pack. But yeah, 3 wide in the second row, and then basically every row on back for a little bit. You have first through 18th all under a blanket, and then everybody else kind of behind them has decided that their race is run a little bit further back and a little bit more patient than these guys up front. As they continue to slice and dice for the lead, you get one up front for a lap, and then you get a little push momentum from the other lane. Just a little bit of back and forth, little yo-yoing going on.
A little yo-yoing. That second pack going to be led by the 65 of John Pike, Kevin Orlando, Wayne Lowe, Justin Hughes, Jackson McGeorge, Jeremy Burns, Alex Berube. Going to be the trucks on the lead lap in that back second, quote-unquote, second pack. Matt Robinson back there as well, as he is 1 lap down. As he went a lap down getting the repairs to his machine done. But up front, we still say side by side, a lot of movement though, but these guys keeping it clean here as we work lap 46, 40 laps to go. And potential, I say potential, knock on wood, we might see green flag pit stops, Justice, if these guys can keep it green, which could always be fun to watch. Drivers trying to get from speed at 180, 790 miles an hour all the way down to that 60 mile an hour speed limit. and get these green flag pit stops completed. So something we might get a look forward to seeing here later on.
I'd say the most fun part as a driver when you're on the track is the 5 laps leading up to green flag pit stops where you're just trying to filter down to the bottom, right? How do I get myself set up, and then maybe hoping that if you get to the outside lane, you're coming up on like 3 laps before you're going to pit, that everybody in the inside lane just bails and pits a lap ahead of you or something. But typically, the strategy here is to be the first group down pit road. They typically have a pretty big advantage unless the second group just has more vehicles. So, going to be interested to see how that goes if we can get to that point. But the way these guys continue to navigate the traffic, struggle with the air a little bit, I don't know that we're going to get there, Trevor. I hope so, but I don't know.
I hope so as well. Hudgens elected to leave his drafting partner, the 71 of Sam Taylor. Schaefer is going to jump up in front of Taylor. But Taylor is just going to say, hey, never mind about that. I'm going to jump up here to the outside line and jump in front of the 84 of Hudgens. As we're back to 3 wide, a little bit of a bump. Hudgens gets out of line, gets back in line. No harm, no foul there as we're 3 wide for the lead. Working our way through 1 and 2. The outside line going to lose a little bit momentum, but should have it back here on the exit of turn number 2. But as those moves are getting away with it for now, but as the race progresses, drivers aren't going to be as willing to let you slide up in line like that. So could be a cause for concern. We've already seen it a couple of times here early on in this race, but so far I got to say this has been the cleanest green flag run, considering we've been 3 wide since basically the beginning of it that we've had all night long here, Justice.
Yeah, you know, the worst part is when you have what just happened there, where the guy that was behind the pushing truck, or the guy that's behind the leading truck, jumps out, and then the guy that was leading doesn't like that, so as soon as he gets a little push, he jumps out. I mean, that's how you end up with stack ups and things like that. As you see right here, 71 kind of made a half-hearted block attempt on the 84, and it gets him shucked down to the middle lane. Everybody keeps it straight, but that had potential to not be very good. Now the inside lane gets all the momentum because it basically, that move broke the momentum of both lanes. That middle lane builds it up just a little bit faster here with Sam Taylor getting a little push. I believe that is the 54 truck of Caleb Gilbert giving him a push up to the front.
Yeah, Gilbert hasn't been a factor since the beginning of this race. Got kind of caught up, I believe, in the first caution, got a little bit of damage, but worked his way back up here. Now, second truck in line on that middle lane as a third group, pardon me, has lost a little bit of momentum. They're down to about 3 trucks now as the field kind of bailing out, maybe feeling like, hey, let's take a breath here. We've been 3 wide for about 15 laps or so. Let's just kind of calm down a little bit and catch our breath, but still 3 wide is going to be Hudgens, Travis Gilbert, and Joseph Gingeron leading that outside line, but kind of lost their momentum there as they worked their way back down the back straightaway.
Yep, these guys continuing to kind of battle. Now we see that third lane really dying off. It's gone from about 7, 8 trucks of support to 3, and then you kind of got 1 just holding on to the draft a little bit. It almost makes me wonder if they're not trying to shuffle a little bit for green flag pit stops. Some guys willing to just filter in line, thinking, hey, in 10 laps I'm going to need to be down to that bottom, or in 12 laps I'm going to need to be down there. And so you figure, hey, they're not paying points till lap 85 now, so no need to just keep doing this. I say that, third lane builds momentum, Sam Taylor immediately up to block it. So these guys still trying to race pretty hard. It's kind of wild.
So it makes it entertaining for us up here in the booth and for everybody at home. 3 wide racing pretty much from the drop of the green flag here tonight to where we are now. And right now, this has been the longest green flag run of the night. Drivers still trying to work their way and position themselves for what could potentially be green flag pit stops here in the next 5 to 7 laps, I believe, as they work their way through. Sam Taylor now up blocking the 84 machine of Hudgens. Caleb Gilbert going to have help from the 26 of Kyle Diaz. In that middle line, you see the side drafting a little bit there on corner exit. But right now, the inside line, I got to say, Dominic Hughes and Chris Schaefer, we were kind of talking about them earlier, not being able to be consistent on that inside line, doing a lot better job. They've been really the 2 consistent drivers on the inside line as they've been able to hold on to those 2 positions for the last handful of laps.
Yeah, they're really working well together. They've found a way to get their bumpers just perfectly aligned. And that's a big deal. If you can find a good drafting partner, somebody you trust on your back bumper, and if you're Schaefer, somebody you trust on your front bumper, It makes it a little bit easier to get out there and run, just log some laps, and you kind of know what you got. They know how to control the pedal. Because some of this, I hate to say it, Trevor, some of what we've seen with the slicing and dicing and things people going everywhere could be controlled a little bit with just a little tap of the brake pedal here and there, a little drag, just 1-2% on the brake pedal, 3% at times, to just kind of make the lanes stay where they're at. You just kind of have to play a little bit of gamesmanship. But these boys just out here pushing. It looks like lap after lap after lap as we are 3 wide once again, nose to nose for the lead there for a moment there, and you see Chris Schaefer have to bail out. That typically means that engine is really hot.
Yeah, I think Schaefer's been up underneath the rear bumper of the 39 machine of Hughes there for a while and going to back out, get some clean air, and that kind of shakes up the field as the momentum of that inside line dies out, and that'll allow Caleb Gilbert to get to the inside line. As we stay 3 wide here for the lead, we'll watch it for the next couple of yards as they get back to the start-finish line. There's not a really good place here at Talladega to take a commercial break, but we're going to throw it side by side for you guys at home, because we're going to step aside, let these guys keep battling out for the lead, get themselves set up for green flag pit stops. But we will be back here on the Revo Racing Network for more coverage of the Coast Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series. And we're back just like that. Quick side-by-side action over and done with as we wreck in turn number 2. Sam Taylor and others caught up in this. Devin Hudgens as well. The 30 of Waylon Turner caught up as calamity unfolded. You saw it live. We got about a half a second to catch our breaths before we're back for this caution. And Justice, they were looking so good, and then it went so wrong so quickly.
Yeah, call us Fox Sports, man. Holy cow. That is crazy how that gets timed out, but yeah, a little bit of a bad push. I don't think the 03 is going to have a choice this time on the fast repair, boys, as he seemed to hit everything there. Yeah, big time carnage. It looked like this started a little bit of a questionable push. This is why they say don't push the pusher. The air is very, very unstable here in the pack. The 03 all over the back bumper. The 30 gets him kind of tight. And that happens. You're pulling up on the air of the 26 truck. All these vehicles, the trucks, cars, all of them in NASCAR get super tight as you're pulling up in the wake of another vehicle, even on these super speedways. So when you're then also getting a push from the back, kind of shoves you up the track, then you're kind of shucked out of line, fighting the steering wheel, trying to stay in line, and end up causing this calamity. So yeah, interesting there, but again, one of those things that happens with super speedway racing, Trevor. We see it way more often than we would like to when we kind of all know what the result is.
Yeah, just a tough break for everybody involved. And then drivers with required damage: Waylon Turner, Sam Taylor, Devin Hudgens, Michael Reed, Clint Cox. You see there the 71 of Sam Taylor, the wild ride. Clint Cox, hard contact with the wall. Joseph Gendron involved as well. You see him right there in the 86. Does a nice job getting it locked down and checked up, though. Not sure how much damage he's going to have, but we'll have to get that 86 machine checked and repaired on pit road. But here we go, down pit road, lap 55, 30 laps to go in this one, and this could put them, Justice, being able to make it to the end, depending on the fuel mileage and what lane you're going to be in. Nick Alves, you can see a little bit of left front damage for the 24 machine. We'll see if he uses his fast repair. You see the 03 machine right there in the camera shot. That truck snaps back into one piece as he's used his fast repair for the night. Caleb Gilbert down and away, followed by Michael Bennett. Nick Alves, I believe, stayed on a little bit longer to get his damage buffed out. He's going to hold on to his quick repair. His drivers work their way off pit road here on lap 56.
Yeah, I'm going to be very surprised if you don't see a handful of drivers, Trevor, come back down and top off. I'm totally guesstimating based off of what a half a tank of gas typically gets us in the cars. Around these things is like in the pack, we get about 23 laps, 24 if we're lucky, and out front leading, you get about 21. So I'm going to guess it, 3/4 of a tank. That's about 14 gallons in these trucks. These guys are probably going to get, I don't know, about 27 in the pack. So topping off here is going to put you really close because you're going to top off, filter to the back of the pack, and you're going to be able to save just a little bit more than everybody else.
Yeah, I think not a terrible idea to come back down pit road, but with the pit stops done as we work our fifth caution of the night, now we're going to take our chance to go side by side. You won't miss a thing, because we'll be right back here on the Revo Racing Network.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fike Take Flight 212 here from Talladega for the Revo, or for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series here on the Revo Racing Network. We've had the choose cone. We're working caution number 5, getting ready to come back to the green flag. Caleb Gilbert's going to lead the way. My name is Trevor Earhart. Joining me tonight, Justice Murphy, and running the production, Rob Rader. And Justice, it's been an eventful 57 laps, and the laps are counting down. And I can only imagine that the intensity that we've seen from the beginning is only going to amp up even more.
Yeah, I don't expect that to change. Taking the green here again. What I notice again, Trevor, guys kind of spread out. This could cause, a little bit of chaos here early. But hopefully, again, if they could get a green flag run in, I would be really tempted to see who maybe can make this on fuel. I think you got some guys in the back of the pack trying to play that strategy here, if I had to guess.
Going to be interesting to see Caleb Gilbert on the loud pedal. The teammates lined up with one another on that outside line, and Gilbert's going to be the lonely man on an island as he's got no help out back as Kyle Diaz with a kind of a shocking restart from the 26 machine, and it's going to allow the 14 and the 24 to clear. It's going to be the third man in line is the guy that we're going to have to watch out for, the man who's been aggressive all night long. Clint Cox finally got that truck back in one piece, and there he goes out of line to the inside line, but no help for him, Justice, as there's a big gap between the trucks behind Nick Alves and Clint Cox as the field starts to accordion back up to one another. The runs are building. This is where it's going to get interesting, as we already got one truck out of line. It's the 93 machine I believe that is going to be Daryl Johnson in the 93, the lone man on the outside line.
Yeah, he didn't really get an option there. The 91 just kind of forced him out there, forced his way up the middle into this lane. So we see a little contact there with John Fike and Daryl Johnson back there behind the leaders, but they continue to go straight. Interested to see here what the 03 decides to do, as he's going to more than likely clear the 14 truck, and then the 14 is going to have a big run here just a second. I'm interested to see if the 03 is maybe going to make some different decisions, or if he's going to continue to stay aggressive out there, Trevor. I don't think, based off our interview with him while he was in the pits, I don't think that he's going to just settle by any means.
No, I think for Clint, it's going to be, I'm going to block, I'm going to try to stay out front and let the cards play out however they play out. And we'll have to wait and see. But I fully expect when that 24 and 14 get a run on the 03 that he's going to jump up and try to block that run from those guys. A little bit of movement out further in the back of the package. You can actually see Clint Cox jump up and make that block as Bennett gives him a little bit of a shove, gets a little bit loose, but they hold on to it. Picklesheimer jumped up there with the 25 machine of Dustin Adams as those two got a little bit sideways on corner entry, but they keep it straight. Clint Cox gets shuffled to the middle now as Bennett and Nick Alves go to the outside. They're going to have help from the 25 machine as Cox is going to get picked up by the 17 of Joe Joy, who's quietly having himself a good run, but the outside line now formed up 4 trucks, make it 5 trucks as the 44 of William Gay comes up into the picture. But Cox with a great push from the 17. He's going to get back up there to be side by side with the 54 of Caleb Gilbert.
Yeah, it looked like the 14 truck of Michael Bennett maybe taking a little bit of a lesson from Nick there, kind of moved up, and then when Nick had that happen, Nick kind of struggled a little bit, clipped the wall. Bennett kept it out, forced Clint to make a decision. Clint made a better decision that time as well. So we see some better decisions being made. As I say, as they get ready to go 4 wide into the corner, but 14 thought better of it. Gonna just choose to pick up the bumper of the 17 truck, try to work back forward. These guys gonna need to build some momentum in that outside lane if they plan on getting up there and contending.
Alex Berube out of line. Big wreck down the back straightaway, though. It's Chris Schaefer. He gets turned, and there we go. Calamity down the back straightaway as the 23 turn Picklesheimer involved. The 17 of Joya caught up as well. And caution number 6 strikes. 25 laps to go. And more trucks going to have to get some damage repaired. I believe that's going to be night done for the 23 of Schaefer, as he's already had to use his fast repair. As we get to take a look back here and see what happened. And late block maybe from the 23. Picklesheimer just out of shape. Looked like trying to get lined up. Michael Bennett involved in that. The 51 of Jake Williams snakes through as other trucks get stopped there, Justice. But just like that, quick caution back out on the speedway.
Yeah, trucks, oh gosh, no, that 9 got stacked up, was out of line, and then found the right rear bumper of the 23, and 23 ends up head on in the wall. Kind of brutal if you're in the top lane, nowhere for you to go there. As next thing you know, there's a truck broadside right in front of you. So everybody kind of doing what they can. Yeah, that's tough. That is, I want to say, a product of the super speedway racing, but also avoidable if you kind of can get out of it on time. But tough sometimes to judge the run of the truck. You can get out of it and still continue to move forward even though you're not on the gas pedal. So it can be very tough sometimes to judge runs. Like you were talking about earlier, these things punch huge holes in the air. However, that generates a very powerful run in the draft, and that kind of looks like that's what happened there with the 9 and the 23.
Yeah, just an unfortunate thing for both those drivers. For Chris Schaefer, that's going to be night done for the 23. He's got a damaged, required damage flag, already having used his quick repair, I believe, on caution number 2. For the 23 machine is probably going to see his night over and done with. Dominic Hughes, also another driver with a required damage. Not sure if the 39 has had to use his quite yet, but we'll wait and see if he gets that truck repaired for himself. 2 drivers that got really lucky in that wreck. The 24 of Nick Alves got that truck woed up on the outside line, didn't make any contact with anybody. And then the 51 of Jake Williams, kind of saw him skating through on the inside line, avoided the 2 trucks to the bottom, so they get through that with no damage. And another one that kind of got lucky, Justice, in that we were talking about him as he was kind of pulling out of line, was the 19 of Alex Berube. Pulled out of line, and that wreck just kind of happened in his lap, but the 19 machine makes it through that unscathed.
Yeah, that's again, we talked about it earlier, where you pull out and you go to the back and you think, and I'm gonna stay out of the trouble, and then you're in the trouble. All of a sudden, it just kind of happens to you. So, yeah, 19 though, able to snake his way around, and pretty good there. Interesting here for sure. I'm basically 100% certain all these guys that have pitted here, Trevor, can make it on fuel. There's no longer a fuel concern for a single one of these guys. I don't believe. Other than these front 2 that elected to stay out. They're in an interesting predicament, especially if they continue to lead lanes. Excuse me, but everybody else, good to go to the end now, Trevor.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the 03 of Clint Cox, Dustin Adams. Those 2 last pitted lap 55. Caution laps are obviously going to help these drivers save fuel as they can push the clutch in, turn the truck off, save some fuel that way. But you know, with how aggressive especially the 03 has been leading lines, could be interesting if this goes green, and that's the big if it goes green, that could see Clint having some fuel issues, and this has kind of been the story of his season. We touched on it earlier in the broadcast. The strategy calls haven't necessarily been on par for the performance of the 03 machine. So will we see that come back to bite him here tonight? That's going to be a question that we're going to have to wait and see toward the end of this thing. But the other question is, I mean, how many more of these kind of big incidents can we see before we get down to only about 10 or so competitive trucks?
Yeah, I think back as I'm watching this, and it's you get wrecks and things happening, and eventually guys are running out of fast repairs. You see the 03 having a pretty significant blinking issue, and the 25, I'm sure, perhaps a little frustrated there. Would have liked to have taken a different lane, but the 03 blinked right across the choose cone, so hard to know for sure where he was going. But I think back to the dual race, or the clash. I guess it was the clash that Eric Jones won in the absolutely trashed Joe Gibbs number 20 car. I guess maybe 2020 that happened, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we go if this continues at this pace, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw somebody win this thing missing, half of one side of their truck, or missing a front bumper, rear clip. I mean, who knows? We're caution number 6. We've still got about 20 laps left in this race tonight. 20, I believe 22 on the clock left to go here, as we see another driver with a little bit of a blink there. Caleb Gilbert, hey, no harm, no foul under caution. It's a safe time to do that, not when you're doing 187 miles an hour when you're an inch off the truck in front of you. But yeah, so 6 cautions. I know we were kind of joking earlier on in the broadcast on what we thought the over-under was going to be. I said 4, and I was wrong. So now, Justice, I ask you the question. What is your take? We've already got 6. How many more do you think we're going to see tonight?
I think that 8 is where I want to put it. Basically, split it in half from here. You can go green with about 21 to go. Give me something around lap 11, and then give me something with about 5 to go. Basically, split it in half twice, and you got the 2 cautions to get to 8. I think that's the number, but that's considering that they go green for about 10 here. If they do, it's going to put Clint Cox and Dustin Adams in a very, very poor situation where they're going to end up having to filter to the back to go take some fuel.
Another situation they might have to worry about, green, white checkered scenarios, is that will extend the race. Will they have enough fuel to get to the end of those? We'll have to wait and see. But back into the Geico restart zone, Clint Cox, Dustin Adams going to lead us to the green flag, and those two lined up pretty well with one another. First time we've seen the inside line pretty organized between the top 2. The outside line can be Caleb Gilbert, Michael Reed. Those two are pretty well organized. John Fike, third truck on the inside line, not having the greatest of starts, and actually the inside line kind of spread out. There's about a truck length and a half between all of them. Clint Cox going to instantly jump up in front, and that was a chance for Caleb Gilbert to jump to the inside. He thought about it, faded down, and now Clint Cox is going to jump back to the bottom, and that's going to hurt this 03 machine, at least in the short-term run, as the field gets back together. And here comes the push from the 91 to 25, and here we go. Justice, momentum's been built. Lines are getting formed up. Drivers are getting ready to get into this final 20-lap push to the end.
Yeah, there's very few ways you can kind of show your frustration, Trevor, when you're behind the wheel of the truck around a place like this. But hitting somebody as hard as Caleb Gilbert did right in the middle of the corner is a good way to do it. So I think clearly there's a lot of the field pretty frustrated with this 03 truck right at the moment. As 54 slides down, will turnabout is fair play. As he didn't really have a choice. He was either going to slide down and clear him, or he was going to get shucked out. So makes his decision to maybe try to preserve as much as he can, get out here and lead a little bit in 54 truck. As we said, he was kind of an afterthought for a little bit. He got in some early trouble, but finds himself right back up here again, battling for a little win here late maybe.
A chance to win it, or what had been our points leader. I believe still maybe our points leader. I haven't looked at the points in the last week or so, as we were all took a kind of a Racing Revolution vacation out to the Coke 600. So kind of don't have my notes updated, but Caleb Gilbert was the points leader for a good portion of the season, and looking to get another win here tonight as he was our Bristol winner. Now 20 to go, leading that inside line, but outside line going to be Michael Reed, the man who started from pit road, went a lap down early, got his lucky dog at the stage break. Now getting help from Kyle Diaz, trying to get that 91 machine up there to the front.
Yeah, our Bristol winner, Caleb Gilbert, is still the points leader. Trevor leads by 18 over that 03 truck right behind him. So you got the battle for the lead, the battle for the championship, basically sitting in that inside lane right now. This being race 7 of 10. 8 of 10. I believe these guys understand that they're cooking up a little battle. Got to continue to push in that. So the battle not just here at Talladega, it's also off the track in those point standings. As we don't really see as much 3 wide anymore, but we do see some guys starting to get up there and try to form a lane. 34 Wayne Lowe hopped out knowing that the 22, the 93 are coming. Gonna try to pick them up, make a little run up to the front. They have a little bit of support also from the 86, I believe, Joseph Gendron. So I do think that third lane's coming. It just may take a few laps here to get them to the train.
Yeah, it's going to come. It's going to be a little bit before they get up there, but you are right. Race number 8 here tonight at Talladega for the Fike Take Flight 212. And we are off to Dover and then Homestead, Miami for the finale. 18-point gap between Caleb Gilbert, Clint Cox, and Justice. I mean, this points battle, 18 points isn't a long, pretty big safety margin, especially when anything can happen here tonight at Talladega. You go from leading this thing on the last lap. Caution though, his truck spin off the front stretch there is the one of Matt Robinson, the 30 of Waylon Turner, get together off the top of the tri-oval and spin their way into the grass. Caution out, caution number 7 there. But yeah, I mean, anything can happen tonight that could shake up the point standings. And we go short track racing at Dover, and then to the 1.5 miles at Homestead for the finale. Justice, it's going to be a great 2 races, but this one's going to be shaping up, I think, to be a really great finish.
Yeah, Matt there just trying to get out there and cover off that outside lane, get his run to the front, and just goes a little too far, makes a move too suddenly. We were talking earlier about tight steering racks here, running like 12 to 1, 10 to 1. Some guys I've seen say they were running 8 to 1, and so you make movements that perhaps at 1.5 miles work because you have a little more room to move the wheel and not go as far right or left. But yeah, Matty just kind of jumps out of line, trying to get in front of Wayne. It's all the way into the wall, slaps the outside wall, falls back down in front of Wayne. Probably a little bit of a bumper from Wayne, just trying to check up, and next thing you know, you get a chain reaction. Again, just one of those things that happens.
And try to jump up there past the 00 of Tyler Harrison, and just got up into the outside wall, got slowed up, and checked up the 98. Jackson McGeorge caught up. The 51 of Jake Williams gets caught up, I believe, in his first wreck. The 51 kind of had the golden horseshoe all night long, hasn't been in an incident, been around, I think, all the incidents, has been able to sneak his way through, but finally caught up in one here tonight. And here we'll see if anybody elects to come down pit road, maybe top up. I assume some trucks in the back going to come down and get some damage repaired, but here we go. A couple of trucks. Kevin Orlando, I believe Travis Gilbert in the 22 are going to come down pit road for some fuel, maybe some damage. You see Jackson McGeorge, kind of actually a handful of trucks here, Justice, down pit road.
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of things. They're going to get maybe fuel. I don't think you need fuel at this point. I think you're pretty safe there. It's got to be just damage repair only. As I say that, Travis Gilbert definitely just pulled in his box and straight back out. That may have been a fast repair. Travis may have hung on to it. That truck looks pristine. That was definitely a fast repair stop. Burns took his already, so it had to be a fuel stop. Again, no advantage. We've not really covered it. No advantage taking tires at any point in this race. You could spin a few dozen times and it just doesn't matter. This track very, very smooth, very well paved. Drivers constantly IRL talking about how well paved it was. So don't really need that, but we do see a little trick here. And this is kind of an iRacing trick. I talk about this all the time, but Michael Reed down here on the apron, going to try to ride the flat, I'm guessing, also through the turns as well. You try to be down there as low as you can, get the fuel evened out in the fuel cell. Now, if you ride up on this part of it, you're still in the banking, so not really getting what you want out of it, as this is banked probably only about 5 to 7 degrees less than the on-track banking. As you see the difference here as he pulls off. That is, I believe, Caleb pulled off there behind Michael Reed. So, yeah, interesting decisions. A lot of times this is done real late in the run to get the pickup to pick up some fuel here, Trevor. So, interested these guys would be doing it this early.
Hey, taking the shortest way around the racetrack, so trying to cut mileage down, save as much fuel as they can. Because, I mean, 3 chances, or two, I believe 2 chances at the green white checkered, Justice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So I mean, we could see an extra 6 laps in this race based off of that. So any little bit of saving these guys can do can help them out as we get ready to come to the choose cone. A couple of updates on drivers: Chris Nail, Sam Taylor, Chris Schaefer, all calling it a night. So only 3 trucks out of this thing. Everybody else still, I believe, on lead lap. Waylon Turner, Devin Hudgens, Kevin Orlando, going to be the 3 trucks at the back of the field as you see drivers making their way through the choose, figuring out where they want to restart, trying to get aligned with teammates, friends, drivers you've worked well with in the past to get prepared for the restart here with what's going to be 14 laps to go when they get the green flag. But yeah, with 7 cautions, Justice, only 3 trucks being out of the race, that means a handful of trucks out there working with no safety blanket, which could be bad for those guys, the way that this thing's kind of shaped out.
Yeah, I'm guessing that it's probably significantly more than a handful. I'm guessing that only a handful have the safety net left, if I just had to guess, Trevor. But yeah, this is getting around that time where any wreck at this point, you're considering using it. 15 to go. You don't know. You may not get another opportunity. These guys, if you're still holding on to it, you have maybe some unrepairable damage, which can happen occasionally. If you're still hanging on to it, you may have just worked your way through it and not been able to use it. But I would say placing your bets on the chance that you're going to get another opportunity to use it's probably pretty good. Tonight, is if they were to run green from here, it'd be the longest green flag run of the night.
Wait and see if they can run it green to the end of this thing. Top 10, Michael Reed, Caleb Gilbert, Kyle Diaz, Clint Cox, Dustin Adams, Nick Alves, Alex Berube, John Fike, Tyler Harrison, and Trevor Keith going to be the top 10 here on this restart. As Reed still using that apron, trying to save as much fuel as he can. Frank Hughes in the 61 back there doing the same thing as well. But pace car pulling off what could potentially be the final restart of the night here for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series for the Fike Take Flight 212 from Talladega. Is about to get back under green flag as Diaz, Reed going to lead us back to the green flag as they work their way to the Geico restart zone. It's a long way to that restart zone, but green flag back in the air, and it's a great start from the 91. Is it going to be too good of a start though, or is he going to jump up right in front of that outside line? Not electing to make a move yet, as the 26 and the 03 pretty formed up as Caleb Gilbert tries to close in on that 91's rear bumper as they work their way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, that inside lane going to have significantly more momentum as you have like a truck and a half gap, my apologies, between the 03 and the 25 and the outside lane. But those front 2 in the outside hung on pretty well, which is wild. Again, that inside lane was formed up pretty nicely. You had about 8 trucks that were nose to tail for a little bit there. I would have thought they were going to get a massive run, but that inside lane or outside lane continues to hang on with Kyle Diaz at the point. Michael Reed, inside lane leader. So interested to see if this 03 gets a big push on the 26. Is he going to jump as soon as he gets an opportunity?
That's going to be interesting to see. Oh, there they go. Reed gets turned, Diaz gets turned in front of the field, but everybody keeps it straight. Somehow we stay green, but it's going to check up the field. Everybody trying to filter back onto the racetrack as Reed and Diaz on the apron trying to get back up there as Clint Cox now assumes the lead over the 25 of Dustin Adams. But Justice, that could have been massive as the 2 race leaders make contact as the 03 machine tried to make a move to the inside of the 26 of Diaz. And now it's going to allow Caleb Gilbert, Nick Alves, John Fike to get a run to the outside as they now are going to jump in front of the 03 machine, possibly. Yes, they both make it down to the bottom, but catch your breath from that one as the field gets sorted back out here.
Yeah, that was a massive moment, and I have to go back and watch that. I'll have to see that post-race, see what kind of happened there. But yeah, you never want to see that happen if you're the entire field chasing those 2. So Yeah, kind of gets sorted back out. We got 3 lanes running again, though. This outside lane and the middle lane both gaining a ton of momentum. With Caleb Gilbert leading that inside lane, going to be interesting to see how quickly each of these other 2 lanes catch up. You see the 03 immediately bail going up to the front bumper, the 65 of John Fike.
Yeah, it's going to be the man to watch for, I believe, the remainder of either the race or the remainder of how long his truck survives if he gets the big shove from Fike. Back to the inside line goes Clint Knox. Back to the lead goes the 03 machine in front of the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. The question's going to be, I mean, are drivers fed up with it? Gilbert looks to the inside. Double yellow line rule is in play. You can't pass below the double yellow line. But I believe if the 03 gives any inkling of a truck gap for that 54 machine, he's going to take it and try to move him out of line. The 03 machine gets up out of line in the middle groove. That stacks up the inside or the middle line about halfway back. Everybody keeps it straight though. Justin Hughes in the 3 keeps it going, but another big scare for the field there is Fike now tries to get that middle line back up to the side by side with the 03. Trevor Keith on the outside line, being with help from William Gay in the 44. Grant Thorpe in the 77, trying to form that outside line, get them up there as we're about to be 3 wide for the lead as we go into turn number 3.
Yeah, I haven't really talked about that 15 truck much tonight, involved in a few incidents, kind of plucking his way forward a little bit here, and now getting the lead a lane. Gonna have a shot here with basically 10 to go at the line. See another block by the 03 truck, a little bit wobbly here. Gonna be interesting. That 54 is already there. That 03 can't go either direction now. He's stuck in the middle lane. As both lanes have gotten his bumper, he's clear again now. We see Fike immediately try to shuck him out of line. The 03 dives down to the bottom. 54 picks him up, gives him a big shove through the middle. I don't think any of these guys are real willing to stay with him. They're probably only going to stay with him as long as they have to, but as he slides up here, big run, and going to slide in front of the 65 truck, kind of fall back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a big shove, though, from whatever line he jumps in front of, and that's kind of allowing him to keep that momentum. Caleb Gilbert with a little bit of a blink down the back straightaway. Nick Alves trying to help him. But yeah, you know, Fike, you saw Fike try to kind of shuck him up out of line, and I think that's what these drivers are going to try to do to try to upset that 03 machine. Is I don't really think he has a lot of friends that are willing to kind of draft with him, but doing a great job as trucks up in the front. I think the 44 blew an engine, and that's causing a huge stack up. As I believe I heard the 44 William Gay blow a motor, Justice, and that caused a huge stack up on that outside line, and calamity unfolds at the start-finish line.
Yeah, I was kind of peeking further in the back as the truck stacked up there. Was the 44 the one pushing the 15 there?
I think so.
Yeah, he fell victim to what we call Stephen Light syndrome amongst the guys who've been around long enough to know that reference. Yeah, you kind of get up there and you can get lost in the sauce pushing a guy, not realize you're getting ready to blow up, even though the entire dash is blinking. Yeah, he was the guy pushing the 15. So perhaps pushed a little too long. If you don't get air on that nose immediately when that dash starts blinking at you, you're going to lose the engine. That is exactly what happened, Trevor. He lost an engine in front of the field there, caused a stack up. Big wreck here. Golly, just kept catching trucks too as it went on. So you're going to have quite a few trucks with a little bit of damage, some with significant damage. It may have ended a few guys' nights if I just had to guess.
Yeah, it's just a tough break, and we'll get an onboard shot here with the 44 machine and see if we can see the temperature gauges. I don't know if they'll blink on our end, but you can see the RPM gauge just kind of dip right there, indicating the motor let go.
Bottom left one, Trevor. That needle, when it's at about that 45 degrees to the right like it is right there, that means that engine is right on the verge.
I believe both of those gauges on the left side.
Yeah, you're correct. One's oil, one's water. As they get anything above about midway in that gauge, it starts to get real uncomfortable real quickly.
That it does. Drivers with required damage. The 3 machine, Justin Hughes. William Gay, of course, with the blown engine. Gonna have required damage. Grant Thorpe as well, but I believe he still had his fast repair in his back pocket. Michael Reed in the 91 as well, with required damage, as all those trucks down on pit road, getting damaged, fixed, and trying to get back out there. I believe the 3 machine, Justin just used his quick repair. He's already back out. Grant Thorpe, I believe, getting his service done. Michael Bennett as well on pit road. Kyle Diaz, Dylan Picklesheimer, and Devin Hudgens, I believe, all the trucks currently on pit road getting some damage fixed. We're going to pull up the 54 machine, the man running in third, and our current points leader, the 54 machine of Caleb Gilbert. Caleb, it's been a wild night out there, and the catalyst to all of it's going to be the man up front. What is your plan to go up there and kind of upset that 03 machine, who's looked pretty aggressive and pretty dominant here tonight?
The plan is to stay on the bottom and/or get hooked up with Fike here and go around him before we can get either blocked or wrecked, which causes the wreck. So that's really been my strategy this whole night, is just stay on the bottom and then hope when the 03 decides to do what he does. It's always been going to the top lane. So
yeah, it seems a little bit of frustration across the board there.
playing track position, getting up here.
I'd say seen a lot of frustration out of everybody, kind of dealing with the 03, some firm bumps when he's sliding in front of guys. So yeah, kind of expect to see some more of that, Caleb. But I mean, what's it going to take? Is it going to take somebody wrecking him, or are we going to get a nice clean pass and get through these last, say, 5 laps to green?
Man, I hope it's clean. That's always the goal. You know, we race it out. It's always the best way to do it. But just the way that the racing's been, it's been super aggressive. It's been super clean in some aspects. But some guys, you know, when they do a certain thing, you know, if you lift on the last lap, everybody's getting wrecked on the accordion effect. So it's one of those deals where, you know, me personally, I want to take what I get, and if I end up in victory lane, that's awesome. And you know, some things aren't going to plan on that front, so we'll see what we got for you.
Get up there. We want to see some shaking and baking. We'll send you back to the team chat. Y'all get up there and win this thing.
Yes, sir. Shake and bake.
Well, there you go. Justice kind of laid out his plan, and kind of you could hear the a little bit of frustration in his voice from how the night has gone. But it sounds like he's got a partner and a plan to go up there and potentially win this.
Yeah, I know Fike, I believe, races with the EXR boys on Mondays. That's going to be Caleb and Jeremy are the primary 2 in there. We've got one of the EXR boys producing the broadcast, so he's probably producing and calling pit calls for him, if I had to guess. Send them little text messages. Hey, boys, pit now. But no, these boys race hard. Definitely nice when you're starting up front and you have a teammate that you're able to push or receive a push from. So I'm sure Fike and Caleb feeling pretty comfortable here. Going to be interesting. The 15 of Trevor Keith hasn't really been up front around this 03 very much. So he's now to the inside lane. Going to get to push him on the restart. We'll see maybe if they work together pretty well, and maybe they can get out there and do something for themselves as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Fun to watch here on the restart. You're going to get Clint Cox to the inside with Trevor Keith and Frank Hughes, and you're going to have John Fike, Caleb Gilbert, like we mentioned. Then Alex Berube, the man, kind of the wild card, I would say, up there at the front. He really hasn't been up front much tonight. His teammates to his inside, and Nick Alves, Tyler Harrison's up there. You've got Dustin Adams lurking back there. So who's going to get lined up here with who? Who's going to have the pushes? Who's going to leave somebody out to dry? What are we going to see here in 6 laps? As we're going to have restart this with 6 laps to go. That's going to be all to be answered here shortly. Pace car off. Clint Cox, John Fike going to lead us back as we get the long pace down to the Geico restart zone. Here we go into the zone, waiting for Clint Cox to accelerate. There he goes on the loud pedal. Caleb Gilbert, John Fike timed that up pretty well. They're already lined up. Trevor Keith, Frank Hughes trying to get there. There goes Cox to the outside. John Fike thought about going to the inside, got blocked off by the 15. Cox back down to block, though, as they work their way through 1 and 2, trying to get these trucks up to speed, get this momentum built up to see if they can get these runs. As Clint Cox already been aggressive throwing 1 block. I'm sure he's about to throw another one here as Fike gets to the outside, but no, doesn't have time to throw it. Here comes Fike and Gilbert and Berube.
Yeah, and Berube, another good one to have behind you. Understands the don't push the pusher policy, but knows how to get close enough and make you develop a run. So I think you got a pretty good lineup there. The top, 7 of these guys work together pretty often in that outside lane. So these guys are going to kind of know what makes each other tick. As you see Travis Gilbert, however, immediately jump, make it 3 wide. In middle lane's got momentum, what is now the middle lane, with Fike and Caleb and Alex. So these guys may end up 3 of them all getting clear of this 03 truck. I'm interested to see how they'll handle that situation if they continue to stick together. or if they start to make singular decisions.
It's help whoever you can until the last lap. Then it's every man for themselves. That outside line really lost a lot of momentum. Gilbert getting picked up now by the 26 of Diaz. Back to 2x2 racing though as Cox and Fike lead us down the back straightaway. Gilbert, Berube, Harrison, Alves, and Frank Hughes on the inside line try to work their way up. Cox now clear with the help from Trevor Keith. Will Keith jump up in front of the 65 of John Fike? Doesn't look like so. Here comes Fike back with the momentum. There goes the 03 up to Black. Here comes Keith now to the lead. And Justice, if I'm Fike, I'm only going to allow that maybe one more time before I think about just taking it 3 wide and leaving that 03 machine in the middle.
Yeah, if I'm Fike, that's not happening again. You had your chance, and this is, see, right there. Fike and Caleb go, and they have a ton of support. Tyler Harrison, Kevin Orlando, Travis Gilbert, Kyle Diaz, Grant Thorpe on that outside lane. It did slow it up a little bit. They're going to rebuild some momentum. The 19 truck to the back of the 65, or the back of the 03, sorry, of Clint Cox. And now this is going to be 3 wide again for the lead. Clint Cox with some major momentum.
Yeah, he's got a great push from the 19 and the 17 as Cox now back out in front. He's going to drop down potentially in front of the 15. Berube trying to just get him out of the way, and there goes Cox down to the inside line. This is where you got to be careful. We've already seen one truck blow a motor from pushing too hard. Will we see another one have some engine issues as we're coming to 3 laps to go? Berube now leading that middle line. The outside line's died off. They've lost some momentum. John Fike out there, Daryl Johnson as well, Caleb Gilbert, Tyler Harrison. They've all lost that kind of outside momentum that they had. It's going to be now Berube, Joya, the 8. I believe that's going to be is that Dominic
39
Hughes?
Dominic
Yeah.
Hughes. Yep.
Dominic Hughes there in the middle line. They're trying to get going here. They're side by side from first all the way back to the tail end of this group, which is going to be the 51 machine, all the way back there in about 20th place.
Yeah, we're seeing guys now start to bail out. See Wayne Lowe go up, Dominic Hughes go up to the 3rd lane. I think Dominic and Wayne are teammates. See a little bobble there. See the block. We see a wreck in the back. Guys around. Daryl Johnson around starts that. And we are going to get the green-white checkered here. This is going to be really interesting, Trevor. As now these boys are going to know you only got 1 lap to build your momentum and start making your moves.
Yeah, you're only going to have, basically to the backstretch to get set up for a potential passes. We got to look and see what caused this caution. Daryl Johnson off the nose of the 65 of John Fike. Caleb Gilbert, the unfortunate participant in that, as well as Michael Bennett. You saw the front end of the 14 truck explode as he made hard contact with the outside wall. But just like that, 10th caution of the night puts us into overtime. 2 attempts at a green-white checkered as we get another look here, Justice, at this replay, and just kind of an offset there of momentum as sends the 93 machine around.
Yeah, it's Fike and Gilbert kind of falling back, kind of in line in that 3rd lane, and then 93 just offset to the 65 front bumper and just start spinning. That's the story of super speedway racing, just as much as anything, is offset bumper. So you kind of tend to see that a little bit. Saw the 14, yeah, like you said, man, he hit the wall hard. Busted that front end off. I believe that he has already used his fast repairs. It's going to be a pretty tough break here for the 14 truck. May put an end to his night as far as winning is concerned, but if you can get out there on the lead lap, you always go back out there, Trevor, because there's a chance that they pile them up and you pick up 10 free ones on the last lap. So, yeah, you want to get out there and at least give it a shot if you can.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 attempts at a green-white checkered, I fully expect that we're going to use both, so why not go down, get those trucks repaired, get back out there. It's going to be Caleb Gilbert with the required damage, Michael Bennett with the required damage, so both of those drivers are going to have to get what they can fixed and get back out there. But 2 attempts here at the green-white checkered, and if you're not familiar with how it's going to work, basically we're going to get the green flag, get the white flag, and then the checkered flag after that. But we've got Trevor Keith, the man in 2nd place, up in the booth. Trevor, it's Trevor and Justice up in the booth, man. You're behind the 03 of Clint Cox. You've kind of seen the moves he's going to make. What are your plans here to potentially go out and get a win here?
I mean, what's that ARCA guy say? I'm not left until I see God or the checkered flag. That's kind of the plan, I think. I still got a fast repair, and I've exited out of this race, unplugged my router, come back in, and so it's just been a wild night. So we're either going to bring it home or...
Is that what happened to you? Because that's incredible that you got back on. You came back out. I think you were just 1 lap down.
1 lap down. Almost went 2. And then the caution, had a timely caution before I got lapped again. And then Yeah, I got up, sprinted to my router, unplugged it, plugged it back in, came back
So,
in.
what's the plan here on the choose, Trevor? You taking opposite row of the 03, or just going to take behind him and see if you can be the guy that isn't the one he wrecks off of in the top lane?
Yeah, I'm gonna be opposite of him. Over here with the performance guys in the Discord. So Alex said he's gonna choose with me. So maybe we'll get something going here.
Listen, I'm going to help you out here because we're teammates on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
I once bailed on Alex for a Talladega win in the same kind of situation where I was the pusher. So just remember that he probably wants to go ahead and pass you for a little revenge on that. So I'm sorry
oh, I'm sure.
in advance.
It's a restart alliance here. After that, all gloves are off. I'm sure.
Well, TK, good luck. Reach up there, strap those, pull those belts tight, buddy, because you're probably going to need it. And I can't wait to see you not lift. So you either see the checkered flag or Jesus. So good luck, buddy. We'll send you back to your team.
Let's see these blocks that the 03 throws here. See if he can pull her off.
We'll look forward to it, buddy. Good luck. Well, Justice,
Yeah.
not lift until you see the checkered flag, man. That's the mentality you got to have. Still got that fast repair. Here's the choose cone. Cox to the inside. There goes Trevor Keith. There goes Berube. Joya. Nick Alves, though, going to go to the inside line. Not going to jump up there with his two teammates and Joe Joya. It's going to be Clint Cox and I believe Frank Hughes along with Alves on that inside line. So this restart is going to be really interesting here.
Yeah, I think if you're Nick, the minute that Joe took the outside there, you're pretty much committed to going inside, seeing if you can get a gap to maybe get up there and help those guys. But once Joe takes that outside lane away from you to get with your teammates, you're not going to really be able to help them with a truck in between you. So just making a good decision for himself and for those guys if he has a chance to help them. But I think right there you're making a selfish one if you're Nick, and that's probably the right move. So trying to set yourself up to win as much as you want to see teammates or buddies win. You also love to win. I know I hate seeing you win, Trevor, so I know how that feels.
I think there's a little bit of animosity in the booth between all three of us. We all hate to see each other win. We feel bad for each other when we have bad nights, but when we're in victory lane, it's no holds bars. We give each other the hardest times out there. But Nick gonna try to make a race winning move out of this. We'll have to wait and see for the Fight Take Flight 212. The first attempt at a green white checkered here as the drivers work their way through turns number 3. Turns number 4 getting ready to work their way into the restart zone. Again, huge shout out to Coastal Financial for everything that they do for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series, as well as Slurp Sodas. So we get ready for what could be the final restart of the night. Clint Cox with Trevor Keith, Frank Hughes, Alex Berube, Nick Alves, and Joe Joya. Going to be those 3 trucks inside and outside lane. Pace car is off. It's going to be a long trek to the Geico restart zone. It's about halfway into the tri-oval. And just also a reminder, the start-finish line isn't all the way almost down into turn number 1. So that's going to be something to watch out for tonight, as well as when they get that white flag. Where do you make your move? What double yellow line is out of bounds tonight, so you can't pass below that. But into the restart zone we go. On the loud pedal we go, and it's a slow kind of initial start, but a great jump from the 03 machine as he gets clear. Not a real good stack up, but Trevor Keith with a good second phase of the restart as he's now side by side. But here comes the push from the inside of Frank Hughes. Alex Berube trying to get up there to the rear bumper of the 15 machine to give him a little bit of a help, but Edge gonna go to the 03 and the 61 as they work their way out of turn number 2.
Yep, immediately up to block that 15 to Trevor Keith. The 03 not clear here. Trevor Keith really working that bumper now. He's squared up, so kind of in a position where you have to make a choice here. 39 coming to the outside in that very top lane. Gets filtered back down to the inside by the 17 truck with a little bit of a block. And we've got him wrecking back there. The 39 gets spun around off the nose of the 22, Trevor. And we are going to go to the second green-white checkered. And you hope that that's not how that goes. If they're going to wreck, I'd rather see them pile them up front than pile them up in the back of the pack.
Yeah, Calamity, turn number 4, caution number, I believe, 10 for the night. Going to give us to our second attempt at a green white checkered. I mean, this is just end of the race racing. Everybody's trying to go for a gap. You see Travis put his nose into the inside there of Frank Hughes. Or I'm sorry, inside of the 39 there of Dominic Hughes. And just not enough room there. John Fike caught up in that. Caleb Gilbert as well. I believe the 98, Jackson McGeorge. Dylan Picklesheimer further in the back with the 91 of Michael Reed all caught up in that. And that's just hard racing at the end of this thing, Justice. You got to go for every gap that you can, and that's what happens. And now the real question is going to be: is the O3 going to have enough gas as we get into the second green-white checkered attempt here, or is he going to end up like Ryan Blaney was on Sunday?
We're not talking about that, Trevor. But yeah, at this point, you have to have saved enough. There's been so many caution laps. If you haven't saved enough, you really need to upgrade your pedals. Yeah, I would think that he's good. Should be good to just run it out. They've not, I said they've not run enough green for him to have gotten at any point where he's run a ton and lost a huge lap advantage. Like I said, he was at a 7-lap disadvantage. But I don't think at this point it matters. I'm thinking that everybody that's got the 7-lap advantage on him probably has enough fuel to run 7 more of these. Well, I say that, and here he comes down pit road, Trevor, and that's what I get for thinking.
Yeah, down pit road comes the O3 machine of Clint Cox, and the story of the season continues for that man as the pit strategy is backfired for himself. He's going to go from second potential chance to win this race to having to top off on fuel and back into what we call the danger zone at Talladega, where he's going to be back in the field. But see how that's going to play out for him. Is just a quick update: 2 more drivers calling in tonight: Dylan Picklesheimer, Jackson McGeorge, and I believe that's going to leave us with about 21 trucks on the lead lap. 20 trucks on the lead lap here tonight. As a couple trucks down pit road getting damage fixed. As kind of a we're going to bring, I believe, Justice bring up our current leader, Frank Hughes, in the 61. Frank, it's Trevor and Justice up in the booth. You got out in front just by the edge of your nose there before that caution came out. How are you feeling about your odds on this? Your odds to go out there and win this on this last attempt at a green white checkered?
Pretty nervous actually. I kind of laid in the back to miss all the big ones and got to the front, but I haven't worked with anybody besides Nick, and he's done a pretty good job, so hopefully he lines up behind me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I would love to see that Hughes Garage paint scheme in Victory Lane. That's a really good scheme. But yeah, you kind of worked your way up and around the night and kind of played the cards right. So any kind of trickery we can expect here? You think you're gonna need to do anything crazy, or think you can just go out there and fend these boys off?
I mean, to be honest, with the amount of movement that the leader has to do here, I see it's all hands in and everybody's gonna go for it. So there ain't no tricks up the sleeve for this one.
Well, Frank, we wish you good luck on this final restart here. Hopefully you can hold on to this, and we're talking to you here in the next 3 laps or so.
What was that?
I said we wish you luck here on this final restart, and hopefully we're talking to you in the next 3 laps.
Alrighty, thank you very much.
61 machine Frank Hughes and lead us back to the final restart of the night here for the Fike Take Flight 212 from Talladega. As Justice, you missed your caution count by about 2, 10th caution of the night. Potential for 1 more. We might see 11. But right now, the important part, choose underway. Frank Hughes to the inside. Trevor Keith and Nick Alves go to the outside. Kyle Diaz to the inside with Grant Thorpe. Matt Robinson to the outside. Joe Joy to the outside. And then I believe that was Joseph Ginderon to the inside line as drivers make the final choose of the night to get ready for this final restart.
Yep. We definitely could see 11, but next flag basically ends the race. If they catch it, say they catch it down into turn 2, you still got to stay out, actually run the lap out. It's just under caution with the pace car having picked the field up. So hope not to see that, man. I want to see a nice, Atlanta Super Speedway Cup Series Suarez type win here. Let's get 3 or 4 wide at the line. Let's see what we got and see who's got the biggest nose.
That's gonna be the key. Who's got the wouldn't necessarily say the bigger nose, but who can win by maybe a inch or so, a bumper. I guess at that point it is who's got the bigger nose. Whose nose is not flattened from being shoved into the back of the truck in front of them. That's going to be the real key here. Who still has a little bit of a point to the nose of these trucks as they work their way through 3 and 4. Justice, any final predictions on who you think might be able to get away with the win here?
Man, You know what? I'm gonna go absolutely nuts here. That 77 DG machine is parking it in victory lane here.
I mean, Grant Thorpe, not a bad call. Third truck inside line. I'm gonna go. When we did the podcast, I had a thing of picking the guy with the same first name as me, and I'm gonna go with that 15 machine, Trevor Keith. I think he might be able to get this one done. Sandwiched in between the performance boys, though, he's got Nick Owls, Matt Robinson, Alex Berube behind him. We'll have to wait and see, but pace car is off. Final restart of the night here for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series as they work their way into the tri-oval, getting ready to go into the Geico restart zone. What are we going to see here? Will we make it back to the white flag? That's going to all be answered here in about the next 55 seconds or so. Green flag is out. There's a big shove from the 26 Kyle Diaz to Frank Hughes. Frank with a great jump. Will he move up and block the 24? Not quite yet. Nick Owls with the help from Trevor Keith. Alex Berube trying to get formed up on that outside line. A little bit of movement further back in the field. But here it comes, everybody trying to get those trucks up to speed. Justice for the run out of turn number 2.
Yeah, that outside lane should have a pretty big run. They're stacked up nicely, but that inside lane hangs tough. Kyle Diaz with a great push at 61. Here's the thing. At this point in the race, you can lock bumpers basically all the way around, back around to that start-finish line at the end. So you can definitely push somebody, get them out there, and then maybe set up a move if you're the car behind. The worst place to be on the white flag lap, or even coming off of turn 4 on the last lap, is the leader. So we're going to see here as you're getting big pushes. You see Alex Berube making a run to the outside of Nick Alves as well. And then is that, who's that on the outside coming around here that's now leading? That is Joe Joya, and he's going to wreck from the lead, and this is a big caution. This is going to be interesting. Who's going to make it through in a straight? Who's going to make it through straight? Looks like the 25 of Dustin Adams has the advantage right now, Trevor. I believe this is the entire field Ricky Bobby-esque, as this is the entire field, Trevor. Dustin Adams by himself out here leading. No competition. Dustin Adams has gotten himself a win unless somebody can rebuild some momentum very quickly down this back straightaway.
Calamity, turn number 1, entire field done, dusted 4. Out of the way, Dustin Adams to the lead as he's going to work his way through 3 and 4. Here comes the battle for second. It's going to be Berube outside of the 77 of Grant Thorpe, Kyle Diaz, Caleb Gilbert with them. Will they have enough momentum to get to the 25 machine? I don't think so. He's working his way through the tri-oval. I mean, nobody's going to touch the 25. Dustin Adams, shades of I don't know what, crosses the line, gets to the win here tonight. It's going to be the battle for second. Diaz is going to get second. Caleb Gilbert going to come home in third. Grant Thorpe, Alex Berube, Joe Joya going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th. But Dustin Adams survives the carnage, the calamity, the whatever you want to call it in turn number 1, the chaos. Gets the win here tonight. And what a finish that was. And what a, I'm going to say shocked, surprised, and very happy driver we are going to have here. Justice to interview once he gets his celebrations done and dusted with.
Trevor, he is not the only one shocked and surprised. I mean, that was the entire field. He was the only truck to make it out rolling straight. And that's the difference in winning the race. That is incredible. As we saw the pushes be pretty wild all night, and that continued there is just a push in a weird spot in the bumper gets Joe Joya upset. And next thing you know, you're spinning in front of the field, involves everybody. And, man, this is crazy. I'd say Dustin probably a little bit confused, but at the same time, you take all these you can get because you never know when you get another chance at one.
Yeah, I mean, you just take it now, enjoy it. See him line up here for the celebratory photo. 2 of the 3 are there. Caleb Gilbert not there, but Diaz, Dustin Adams, Caleb Gilbert, the top 3, and Dustin. I mean, I gotta say, when you have a wreck like that, Justice, it's all about survival. Who can get out the straightest and get away with it? And right now for Dustin, he was the man that was able to do it. And we got our race winner up in the booth. Dustin is Trevor and Justice up here in the booth. And man, you survived the calamity, the carnage, and everything in turn number 1. You get away cleanly. How you feeling after that one, buddy?
Well, I survived is a little generous, I guess. I think I had a lot to do with that one. I do apologize to the 17. I was trying to push him to the front, and unfortunately that included lifting his back tires up and off and shot him down the track. And oh, good God, through the grass and I guess I looked in my mirror and everybody behind me was done. So
Yeah, I think if you go back and watch that later, you're gonna hear some interesting call. I mean, that was crazy. Basically, the entire field wrecks there. Yeah, unfortunate that maybe that's a push from the nose of your truck, but you kind of take these how you can get them. You know, you kind of worked all night, kind of hung around anywhere from mid pack. You kind of worked in the top five. So, I mean, they always say you only got to lead one of these, but what was
yeah.
the goal all night as you kind of maneuvered through the field?
Well, we've done a lot of these races over the years, these Dega plate races. So my general tendency is wait in the back till about halfway, then kind of look, see what you can do. And my teammate in the 03, he got in a little trouble, some damage early on. So I pushed him up through the field. And once we were up there, you're kind of in it. It's worse trying to drop back out than to stick. So we stuck around and we got on a different pit strategy than everyone else. And you know, if the 03 is known for anything, it's making the right call when it comes to pit stops. So I was kind of with him till I couldn't be anymore, and I was about to run out of gas, and I had to pit on the next to last green white checker. Fortunately, there was another one. I was able to work up far enough, and I think he ran out or close to running out, and he had to pit on the last green white checker. So cock strategy didn't work for him, but I lucked into one.
Hey, sometimes it's all it takes. You get lucky and win one of these things. It could set you up for some momentum down the road. But Dustin, I mean, we got two more races left in the inaugural season of the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series at Dover and Homestead. I mean, how are you feeling about those next two races to end the season out?
Well, I got to kind of get some laps on Dover to find out if Richmond was any indication. It's going to be not a lot of fun for me, but you know, that's the fun thing about this league. We're out here. We've got a variety of tracks. It's ran well. One of the best leagues I've been into. Usually, we'll go the next morning, watch the broadcast. Broadcast is great. So I love everything you guys do, from the league itself to you all broadcasting it. So thank you all for that. And before you move on, I guess just thank Team 606 iRacing, thank Country Boy Brewing, Bobcat Dairy Bar, and just good time, boys. Appreciate y'all doing all you do.
We appreciate you. Beat me to it. You gave me all the shout outs before I could even ask you. But hey, again, dude, congratulations on your first win in the league, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do for us next week at Dover in the season finale at Homestead.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Our race winner, 25 machine of Dustin Adams. And as we get the other two drivers up and into the waiting room, we're going to take a quick commercial break and gather our thoughts on that finish and let the other two drivers, Kyle Diaz and Caleb Gilbert, grab their thoughts. And we'll be right back for the final two interviews here on the Revo Racing Network.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the Fike Take Flight 212 for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series. We've got our second place finisher, Kyle Diaz, in the 26. Kyle, it's Trevor and Justice up in the booth. And man, what a wild night out there tonight for the whole race and for you as well. And what a wild finish that was. Take us through your thoughts and kind of what your perspective was there of the calamity in turn number one there on the last lap.
Yeah, that race was just insane from beginning to end. Like there was just a good amount of blocking going throughout. But I'm pretty sure if the last wreck right there, I heard that this 25 maybe got into the back of the 17 and caused a massive pileup from there. But I was surprised that I even came up in second place because I was anticipating on like eighth or ninth place because I thought some people got passed. But looking back on it, coming to the line, coming to second place, I was like, what the heck? Where's everybody at? But I guess they're all wrecked out, you know?
Yeah, you qualified 26 tonight, Kyle. So kind of had to be patient all night. We saw you up front quite a bit the last half of the race. What was your strategy play to make yourself be in contention, even have a chance to win here at the end?
Well, my strategy from the beginning was like I wanted to like try to stay towards the front, like after the first stage. After the first stage, I was staying near the end, but after that, I tried to maintain track position, and I was up there for a good bit. I think I don't know if you guys saw me, but I know one of those restarts right there, I got clipped by I don't know who, but I lost track position right there, and I had to reset from there. And luckily, I was able to get back up through the field before that, and kind of put myself in a better spot to avoid the wreck, I guess.
Well, Kyle, I mean, you got to win on the season. You get a good finish out of this. We got 2 races left at Dover and Homestead. I mean, how are you feeling about the remainder of this season and your chances to go out there and put that 26 machine back into victory lane again?
I feel like Dover, I'm gonna need some practice there if I'm gonna get into victory lane. But Homestead, Miami, I'm pretty confident there because my bread and butter, to be honest, is the intermediate tracks, and that track is unique, but it's still a mile and a half track, and I feel like I can do good there. So hopefully, finish the last 2 weeks strong, and just get ready for the next year for the actual season. Hopefully, have a good time or a good run there.
Well, we can't wait to see you in these next 2 races. But before we let you go, Kyle, any shout outs you want to give us?
Oh yeah, shout out to my Racing for Freedom team, of course, and shout out to you guys for the commentaries. You guys do a good job, and just shout out to the whole league in general. Just have a good time doing these races with y'all, and yeah, hope you guys have a good one.
Well, thank you, Kyle, and good luck in the next 2 weeks. And hopefully, we're talking to you again in both of those races.
Yes, sir.
That's our second place finisher, 26, Kyle Diaz. And now the third place finisher, Caleb Gilbert. And Caleb, we talked to you, I don't know, like 4 or 5 restarts, I think, before the green white checkered. And then you kind of got caught up in the carnage. And then you get caught up in the calamity on the last lap, but you somehow come home third. I'm pretty sure not how you thought that race was going to go after you get caught up in a couple of wrecks. But hey, here you are. How you feeling after all of that, buddy?
I still have no idea what happened. Yeah, yeah. I always take my restricted plate finishes when I can get them because it feels like you always get wrecked at the end, no matter what you do. So you want to run around in the front all day, and you're kind of in and out, top 5, top 10. You feel good. I made one bad decision. I was overheating, pushing Fike, and then we wanted to make a move. To go to the outside lane, and I kind of just forgot I was blowing up 5 seconds ago. That was pretty dumb. So we went to the back, and then from there you just get caught up in every little thing possible. Yeah, I'm sitting on pit road, 6 minutes of optional damage. Can't get my truck out of third gear. You know how it is. Anybody that's drove an iRacing, you just kind of throw it out there. You might gain a couple spots at a plate race from people in the infield and whatnot. Uh, and then I crossed the start finish line when they were on the exit of start turn 2 there. I was like, oh, that looks like the whole field. And it was. Um, so, me and my truck going 130 miles an hour, a lot of speed in it, brought it home, P3. Unbelievable performance out there.
Man, looked really good air wise, but what we need right about now, because Trevor wasn't quite sure what to call this, I'm gonna need the quote from Talladega Nights regarding your third place here, Caleb.
I am just like you, Ricky Bobby. I don't know if that's the right quote. but
It'll
I am.
work well enough.
It'll work. That's
Yeah,
the only thing I know.
the only thing I
Shake
could
and
think
bake.
of the whole time was it looked like Talladega Nights as the
It did.
entire field piled up and you get one guy kind of sailing through. But yeah, good third place finish tonight. You take the points lead. Looks like into Dover next week. So what's the goal there? Try to keep ahead of that 03 Clint Cox.
I got my work cut out for me. That's for sure. Two tracks that I'm good at, but not great. Typically when I go to those, I'm fifth, sixth, somewhere in there. And then if something happens and avoid trouble, then I'm usually, maybe get a spot or two here and there. So I got to work a little bit. I know that iRacing is changing some of the truck packages at these racetracks. I believe that's tomorrow. So we don't really know what's going to be in store, how much it changes. But just from what I've seen, it's something that benefits me a lot in my driving style. So we'll get to work here. 2 weeks to go, and hopefully, crossing the finish line is all that matters. Sometimes doesn't matter how fast or slow you are. Maybe I'll have that luck on my side these next 2 weeks.
Well, Caleb, we can't wait to see how the season's going to turn out for you the next 2 weeks at Dover and Homestead. But before we let you out of here, buddy, any shout outs you want to give us?
Same as always, everybody back home in the Element X Racing Chat. It was a weird race. Wasn't really around those guys a ton. Where we worked well. Had a good game plan going and executed it pretty well. Could have been better in maybe 1 or 2 spots. All the sponsors that come out and do this. Coastal Financial supporting the league. Chapman Environmental. Bud Kicker. Ultimate Siding and Gutters. All about bugs. I'll get your plug in there, Justice. Don't worry. Not you, Trevor. Everything that goes into it is fantastic, and that was, for as chaotic as that race was, there was a lot of racing going on. Sometimes you can't say that about a plate race. And it was cleaner than I thought, even though we did have a bunch of wrecks at the end, for being as chaotic and as crazy as it was. So shout out to the league for holding it together somewhat.
Well, Caleb, we appreciate it, buddy, and good luck next week at Dover.
All right, thank y'all, fellas.
Our third place finisher, the 54 machine of Caleb Gilbert, survives with his points lead still intact after a night that looked like it was going to go well. Justice, a night that was going well that looked like it was going to go badly for him turns into a good result for him. As I think we're on board here with Nick Alves and what's going to be the calamity and chaos in turn number 1. And there they go. And let the carnage ensue. Justice, as we get a nice onboard shot of this final wreck.
Oh man, if you're Nick, that is heartbreaking because it's like everything went in front of you, clean racetrack, and right rear. Yeah, that's brutal to see. Yeah, Caleb, he said he had some speed in it compared to everybody else that was sitting still. He definitely did, but yeah, a little bit of calamity, a little bit of heartbreak there for a couple guys, but yeah, big win by Dustin Adams. Kind of as we said, Caleb leading the points. You had Clint Cox kind of hot on his tail, probably gonna be about 15 to 20 back going into Dover. So definitely a manageable gap. You can get up there and win a race, win a stage, get as many, kind of maximize your points, get as many as you can. You can definitely turn it in to something if Caleb doesn't do the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to watch these last 2 races, Trevor. But hey, before you get the chance, I'm going to go ahead and pick my Dover winner, and it's the 19 truck of Alex Forget Perube.
You know, one, I dislike you for that. 2, it's not a terrible pick, but they're my pick for that race for the race winner are going to be the pit road barrels. As I have a strong suspicion that they might take out your pick at some point in that race, but who knows? We'll see what happens when we get it over. But get a final look here at the results from Talladega. You can see them up on your screen. Chris Neal, Sam Taylor, Chris Schaefer, William Gay, Waylon Turner, Michael Bennett, Daryl Johnson, Michael Reed, Dylan Picklesheimer, Jackson McGeorge, and Dominic Hughes. I believe all drivers that did not finish tonight with Travis Gilbert and John Fike. I believe finished the race, but just with some damage there. But Dustin Adams gets the win. Kyle Diaz, Caleb Gilbert, Grant Thorpe, Alex Berube, the top 5. Devin Hudgens gets a 9th place finish. So he was up 20 spots from where he started, along with Justin Hughes in 11th. So both of those drivers surviving tonight and getting a good results for themselves. But Justice, we saw, a lot tonight. We saw aggressive blocking, wrecks being caused from that. We saw 3 wide racing pretty much from the drop of the green flag. I mean, I think this race here tonight for the Fike Take Flight 212 gave us everything that we could have asked for from a Talladega race.
Yeah, I think, cautions aside, you definitely did see some racing, saw some blocking, things you just see at these things. These things are tough to win. Uh, Regardless of what anybody says, anybody can win them. It takes luck to win them. It does take luck to win them, and sure, anybody can win them. But a lot of the times, you see the same guys filter themselves up front because they just know how to work the package. They know how to get themselves up there, and so you see those guys coming, and you start trying to figure out how are you going to beat them. And it's not always the easiest thing in the world. That's why you see them all kind of frustrated with the '03 truck, right? Throwing blocks, late blocks at times, kind of getting into bumpers, causing a ruckus. But one thing's for sure, he knows how to race up there, and he gets himself up front and isn't competitive. So, again, very interesting night. Obviously, tonight with the calamity in turn one, it took the straightest truck here at the end. It just so happened to be that 25. Congrats to Dustin D. Adams on getting that win.
Congratulations on him for getting his first win here in the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series. But for tonight, for myself, Trevor Earhart, for Justice Murphy and Rob Rader running the productions, that's going to be it for us from Talladega for the Fike Take Flight 212. We'll be back next Monday night for Dover as these drivers for the Coastal Financial Racing Revolution Truck Series take to the Concrete Monster Mile to see who's going to get the win there tonight as we get ready for the end of their season. 2 races left to go. You don't want to miss out on that. Shout out to all our sponsors, Coastal Financial and Slurp Sodas. But that's going to be it for us tonight. Tune in next Monday night to see what unfolds under the High Banks Concrete at Dover. And that's going to be it for us here tonight.